Good morning, everyone. This is Jake from Switchaboo.com. Welcome to Switchaboo Live. Hey, and with my audio maybe fixed from last stream, maybe. Actually, looking at it, no. Give me a sec. Where's the thing? Testing. Hey, there we go. That's better. All right, I forgot to fix it from last week. Anyway, there we go. Hey, and Bruno fixed everything right at the last second. Thank you so much. So yeah, we are continuing on with our Henchman Story playthrough that we started last week. To remind people where we left off, I decided to stop at like at a point that actually branches the story off quite a bit, and actually let the like the YouTube comments on the the YouTube upload for this, the Twitch stream, and the Discord, decide where we actually go next. So it was either take Madam Scorpion's dangerous night gig, or we piss her off and go to game night. Game night was winning for the longest time, but side gig managed to get it right at the end. So we're going with the side gig.
Well, I do love money. So right now, I guess I'm leaning towards the side gig.
Really? I didn't realize things were that tight for you. The henchman rates seem pretty good for this
She
assignment.
looks like she can
so
hack
I get
into my systems. Shush. Shush, yeah.
Don't lie. I'd be a little disappointed if the super exclusive SNS meetup of yours is cancelled after all the hype. I was kind of hoping we could hang out. But it's no big deal, really. You do what you gotta
Usually
do.
I'd say game night, but our manager invited itself to the side gig with the cutie is looking pretty good.
Hey, I'm
Yeah.
not blowing you off. Promise. And this is just what I'm thinking right now. Maybe I'll change my mind. Who knows?
Well, whatever call
Hey,
you make,
also, you
don't
weren't
sweat it.
supposed to know that she
Honest.
shows up in the side gig too, so spoilers.
Thanks, rookie. Whatever I end up deciding, you guys will be the first to know.
And how are you going to let me know exactly? Carrier pigeon? Or do you guys send messenger rats through the walls around here?
What can I say? Short bob hair is cute as fuck. Yeah.
Oh, right. We never exchanged numbers, did we?
It is. I'm not gonna lie. See, after fumbling with a few pouches, I remember which one holds my phone. We exchange contact information. Dave insists on doing so as well, which doesn't seem entirely appropriate, but that's Dave. That might be a good biography title for him. Not entirely appropriate. Maybe the whole Lord Bedlam operation as a whole. Gotta hang on to that one.
There we go. That'll be easier. Though, I admit, I was sort of looking forward to some kind of trained animal messenger.
Honestly, they might be more reliable. The reception at Secret Mountain Base isn't great. Big shock, I know.
The rest of the lunch is filled with small talk, nothing groundbreaking, but it's oddly relaxing. Kate's better at redirecting Dave's enthusiasm, and he only mentions that he's a squad supervisor like 3 or 4 more times. My previous worries about his addition to the spells and swords session are nullified. With Kate around to tame him, it could actually turn out well, or dare I say it, fun. That is, if I decide to go to it. I'll see where my head is at in a few hours, regardless of my current feelings. Kate's right, this is a decision I need to think about very carefully. As the day drags into the late afternoon, I return to my room to change into a spare uniform and freshen up. Neither game night nor the side gig feel like the right venue for that sweaty warehouse day aroma. Maybe I should invest in some cologne. Between the sweat and getting thrown into a dumpster, I've had a lot of smells to cover up lately. There's a non-issue. Darn, should have saved us. As I finish buckling up my uniform, I grab my phone from where I left it on my bed. Frowning, I open up the Henchcam app, navigate to the gig Madam Scorpion had mentioned, and stare. This is it. I've given myself all day to think. What should I do? Unwind with some spells and swords at game night, or take the Henchcan gig and go earn some extra money? We are going to take the side gig, because that's what won. I tap the button labeled Accept on the app. I could use the extra money, and turning down Madam Scorpion's direct offer feels like it could end very badly. She might have been supportive of me taking more time to gather information and evaluate my choices, but I get the distinct feeling that she still has a right choice in mind. Hers. Taking your time with big decisions is a good idea, but a bad decision doesn't get any better just because you agonize over it more. Then again, Scorpion aside, the side gig doesn't look that great for my health either. If any of these waivers I keep scrolling through are any indication. Jesus, why are there so many of them? I get it. If I'm injured, get sick, or die, I can't sue the Scorpion group. No need for a whole paragraph on defenestration? Okay. It's a word I've never seen before. Yeah, after a few moments of waving rights that I didn't even know I had, a map finally appears, pointing me towards my nearest pickup location. Looks like it's outside the base, in the middle of the forest. It's appropriate, I guess, but this whole crowdsourced Black Ops shit is a weird vibe. It may not let me use my phone once we leave, so I better text everyone beforehand. Dave will be disappointed. Means to be violently thrown off a window. Alright. Sure, he'll understand on the surface level. Scorpion's my sort of boss now, and he's all about respecting his superior. I'm sure he'll still recite a saying his pap paw had about keeping your word and yada yada. Scorpion may be infinitely more dangerous when it comes to outright aggression, but let me tell you, she doesn't hold a candle to Dave's mastery of passive-aggressive vengeance. I'll never live this down. Kate's another matter entirely. After texting Dave, I type out a message to her, but hesitate before sending it. She seemed genuinely excited to be part of the game, and part of me feels like I'm letting her down. Not making it up 100% serious? Alright. If you say so, I'll take your word for it. But she has to understand, right? She's on the app herself. It wouldn't be fair of her to knock it. I'll just have to make it up to her. I shake off the guilt, press send, and pocket my phone. No going back now. And that meeting point's a way off. Better get moving. Issue 5. The Henchman Side Hustle. I walk through the halls, going against the grain of the usual game night traffic. A short while later, I step into the hallway, bag in tow. While the halls aren't jam-packed, there are definitely more people than normal, all heading off to take part in one game or another. The main hall will have the most people, playing on cheap card tables surrounded by a sea of plastic folding chairs. It's where we hold any tournaments or contests, and it's also where Lord Bedlam's usually found. I already hear a cheer from that direction as if to remind me of all the fun I won't be having tonight. But that's okay. If you make enough money, you can just buy fun whenever you want, right? The further I walk, the fewer people I see. There's little in this direction besides the main entrance. So all I expect to find are a few unlucky souls that drew guard duty tonight, like that woman up ahead. Already slacking off by the looks of it, just leaning against the wall like she's waiting for someone. Wait.
Kate? What are you doing here?
What's it look like? Waiting for you. I saw you took that gig, and what do you know? My schedule's suddenly free.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So yeah, she's gonna be joining us for the side gig, yay!
I told you not to sweat it.
We got a date, boys, let's go!
Besides, you were upfront about it. Can't ask for more than that.
I can still feel that, though.
If that's your prerogative. But really, it's no big deal. You still rank below the kid that ditched me at my freshman semi-formal on the list of guys who left me hanging.
Oof.
What did you do to him?
Let's just say that was when I took apart my first engine. Now, come on. We can't be late for dust-off.
See, Kate starts walking down the hall, and I'm quick to follow. After I caught up, I match her pace and shoot her a quizzical glance.
How'd you beat me here anyway? It's a long walk from the living quarters.
I was in the area.
Doing what?
Alright, I was lost, okay? I've been looking for the game room for a half hour when you texted, so I figured I may as well stay put.
Hey, what was the occasion? Essentially prom.
Alright.
See, she didn't look like someone who had been lost, but I don't press any further.
So, find out any more details about this gig?
Not really, but I expect the Queen Bee herself to be part of it. Just smells like one of hers.
You mean Scorpion? Does she tag along on a lot of these things?
No, just occasionally, but there's a pattern to it. It's usually... well, it's hard to explain. Just a hunch, I guess.
I scratch my chin as I ponder her explanation, or rather, the lack thereof. Just a hunch, huh? However, before I can ask what she meant by that, I find myself interrupted.
Hold it right there, you two. Let's see some ID.
Hey,
Let's go.
look, a rando. Rando has a name. I stop and look up to find a familiar scowl peering at me from behind the window of a security checkpoint. James, the gate supervisor. Must have been lost in thought. Looks like we've reached the main entrance already.
Oh, hey, James. We were just headed out for a bit. Mind opening the gate for us?
Oh, just like that, huh? I'm just supposed to open the gate for you and you waltz on through?
Is that not how gates work? Should we do a different kind of dance when we go through or something?
The type of dance isn't the point.
Yeah, gate supervisor. Yeah. Nice job.
This gate is under my jurisdiction. I determine who gets in and who gets out.
Hey, Demo, what's going on, dude? How you doing this morning?
You could say that. Except you're not actually allowed to stop anyone who
Small
works for
power
Lord
syndrome,
Bedlam
most
from
evil of
coming
all
or
mental
going, remember?
afflictions, yeah.
We've been over this, dude. Complaints were filed, HR got involved. Just open the gate, man. Don't make a whole thing out of it.
Grumbling the entire way, James trudges over to the gate controls and pulls the lever, letting the gates open with a groan.
Alright, you're clear to proceed. But mark my words, Stan. One day, you'll need to get through and I'll be allowed to stop you. One day, it will be the gate supervisor's time to shine. One day!
Sure,
That
dude.
day's never going to come, is it?
Good, still sick. How are you? I'm doing good. I'm tired. Tired as all hell, but thank you, melatonin supplements, for keeping me, you know, actually on time for this stream. Me and my terrible sleep schedule, I woke up at 4 p.m. yesterday. Oh, Lord. With our path clear, we make our way through the open gate and into the natural caverns beyond. The words "one day" echoing off the walls even as the gate closes in our wake. But yeah, thank God it was Sunday, though. Jeez. If it was, like, literally any other day other than Sunday, I would have been so mad. Waking up that late. See, after another hike through a series of tunnels, we finally emerge into the wilderness, where we're greeted with the painfully bright light of the late afternoon sun. Glad we got off of work early today. I hate coming out here at night. The return trip is gonna suck. I can feel the poison ivy in my uniform already.
This way. I know the spot they're using.
It's not long before we reach our destination. A small clearing with a large mossy stump in the middle, and a small babbling creek just before the far tree line. No one else appears to be here, so I saunter up to the stump and take a seat. Check my phone. A full minute ahead of schedule. Nothing to worry about. So why does Kate look so tense?
Don't worry, James won't lock us out. He talks a big game, but that's all it is.
No, it's not that.
Just come and call, it'll be fine. Make my brother buy me lunch before he gets home. Lucky. I frown confused. It's not dark yet, and no one ever comes in these woods except Bedlam's henchmen, so I'm not sure why she'd be nervous. Most dangerous thing you'd find out here is a skunk, or maybe a...
Cutting it a little close, aren't we?
I jump and whirl around at the source of the noise just in time to see Madame Scorpion step out from the shadows, like a lioness emerging from the undergrowth. When she stalks forward, she barely makes a sound and her footing is never in doubt, despite the uneven grounding. Somewhere in the depths of my primal lizard brain, my fight or flight reflex is triggered and I hear a voice scream at me to run. Instead, I cough to clear out the lump in my throat and offer a sloppy salute.
Close only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and orbital doomsday lasers, man.
You at least
I
tried.
don't know for sure since we never had
You at least
either
tried,
of those last
Bruno.
two, but it seems like a safe bet.
What are we gonna do in the forest, hench bro? Pomp. Another joke that could get me fired.
You're not missing out. Orbital weaponry is overrated. Easily identified and easily dismantled. Just ask Dr. Calamity.
Scorpion chuckles to herself and shakes her head at a joke that we're not privy to before her eyes flash to Kate.
I'm surprised to see that you've brought company, Stanley. I don't recall my invitation including a +1.
Kate offers a crisp salute without a flinch.
Ma'am, sorry if I'm intruding. I just saw the gig on the app and...
I am speaking to Stanley. If I require your input, I will request it.
She doesn't like Kate. Her eyes linger on Kate's still present name tag.
Kate? Is that understood?
How she's that kind. Yes, she's that kind. This time Kate stays silent, merely nodding in understanding. Scorpion appraises her for a moment more before turning her gaze to me. Hastily, I rise from my seat and offer a decidedly less crisp salute.
Now, Stanley, explain yourself.
Regret
Why
my
is she
vote
here with you?
immediately. Do I pull a red versus blue on her? It's like, yeah. Ever wonder why we're here? It's one of life's great mysteries, isn't it? So what do we do? Followed me here, I want her here, or red versus blue reference? Do it? Red versus blue? Alright, let's go.
Why are any of us here? Was it predestined, or just some great cosmic fluke? Are we part of a grand design, or cold, uncaring math? If you put a cat in a box...
Enough, Stanley. Tell me, are you so incessantly glib by choice, or is it some deep-seated Pavlovian response?
Well, now you're getting
She
into
doesn't
human
like me now.
nature, and while it might seem similar to the subject of free will, let me tell you, it's a whole different ballgame.
Truly, we're all wanderers in this great cosmic play.
I suppose I have only myself to blame for that one. Well, at least you seem confident, if nothing else.
Can one ever be confident of anything in this mysterious, ever-changing universe?
I'm quite confident that you'll finally be silent if I slice off your jaw. But we can test that if you'd wish.
Hey, remember how we were kind of on her good side and then we, like, just piss her off right here and ruin all of that?
Okay, that's an admittedly good example.
With that, I keep my lips sealed and Scorpion turns her attention back to Kate.
I hope you have a better answer than that for me.
I just saw it on the app and decided to sign up last minute, ma'am. Should there have been a warning screen or something?
No, but this job was supposed to have been marked as exclusive. Only certain users should have been able to see it. So, Kate, are you certain that you signed up for this job in particular?
Yes, ma'am. Here, I'll pull it up.
Kate unlocks her phone and holds it out to Scorpion, who takes it without hesitation. After examining the screen, the supervillain frowns and hands the phone back to Kate.
Odd. Either it's a bug, or someone on our live team needs to remember just who they're working for. You shouldn't have been able to see that.
I've only met each other count on this grand voyage, though, through the sea of the universe, sailors in the same boat.
You're one of ours.
This is gonna be a whole
Correct.
thing, just like last
How
stream
long
was
have
all
you
about
been with
witch
the
burning,
program?
isn't it?
A few months, ma'am. This is my third gig, first long term. Sorry about the mistake. I didn't even know that the app had exclusive jobs.
Me either. And that's why you're doing this whole closed beta thing, though, isn't it? To test all the features?
That is one of the goals, yes. Well, assuming you don't botch the job and get yourself captured, I expect you to file a bug report before morning. Understood.
Absolutely, ma'am.
The Scorpion looks like she's about to inquire further, but before she can, we're interrupted by the sound of helicopter blades, rapidly growing louder. Our eyes turn to the sky, and soon enough, a jet black helicopter soars into view, flying as low as it can without touching the treetops below. It slows and comes to a halt above the clearing. I step back to give it room, but there's no need, as a rope ladder soon falls down from the side of the vehicle. Nervously, I look up at the helicopter, measuring the distance in my head. Physical activity already? This job really is gonna be dangerous.
Over half a minute late.
Jake, I got a game last night for the Switch, paid for the DLC. Looks like I'm gonna play a whole heap of South Park Fractured Butthole. Nice, nice. Yo, speaking of that, when am I actually gonna be playing that on my stream? Because I know, you know, I know you and like a whole bunch of other people voted for that for a while. We gotta go through House Flipper and Pathfinder Kingmaker. So, hey, go to twitch.tv/Jackson15 if you want to watch some of that.
Well, we're already half a minute behind schedule, Stanley. Let's not make it worse.
Right, sorry. Just stretching.
But you're standing still.
Max difficulty or no donos. Aww.
Emotions need stretching too, alright, Kate?
Reluctantly, I walk up to the ladder, take a breath, and begin to climb. Fortunately, aside from one moment near the top where I accidentally looked down, it actually wasn't that bad. Soon enough, I'm seated inside the helicopter with a dozen other henchmen in nearly as many different uniforms. Kate soon follows, and Madame Scorpion literally leaps up from the ladder afterwards. While it's nothing next to going one-on-one with Miss Dynamo, the move was so effortless that it makes me wonder about Scorpion's powers. She clearly has some, but do they go beyond her obvious physical abilities? If she was really the top assassin in a world filled with supervillains, surely there's more to it than that, right? Maybe this job is where we'll find out. Though if it is, that probably means that we're in serious danger. She plays things so close with the vest that I can't imagine her revealing her full arsenal unless she has to. So on second thought, maybe some mysteries aren't meant to be solved.
All accounted for. Pilot, take us to the next rendezvous point.
And we're off. Kate and I hurry to strap in as the pilot complies with Madame Scorpion's order. For her part, the supervillain merely grabs a handhold and plants her feet, unperturbed by the swaying of the helicopter. As we ride towards our destination, the sun starts to slip beneath the horizon. The city fades into view. Not long after that, our helicopter sets down in a small field near the city limits and we pile into a van. So this job, right? What's the dental plan look like? We do get medical benefits from, our base stuff from Lord Bedlam. This is just like an extra thing that we do for, like, more money. It was the main plot that was established in the previous stream. Basically, we're working for Uber for supervillains. It's like, oh, I had a, what was it? Yeah, like, the villain got, like, really beat up and lost a lot of minions on the previous job. I need to hire more really quickly. Well, that's what the Henchman app is for, so that's essentially what we're doing. See, by the time we pile out of the van and into the abandoned parking lot that's apparently our destination, the last shreds of dusk are gone and the night is lit only by the moon and the city's bright neon lights.
And here we are. Now, I know this might be a foreign
Why's my
concept
nose so
to
itchy?
some
Ah.
of you, but while we're exposed, let's try to keep a low profile, shall we? That means minimal chatter, understood?
She explicitly holds her gaze on me for a moment while she says that last part, and Kate, who's standing next to me, lightly elbows me in the side.
What?
I think you know.
Now then, all surveillance cameras along our designated route have been disabled, so don't stray from it. We go up the fire escape there, directly west along the rooftops, and enter the fourth building via roof access. Well, get moving.
The other henchmen scramble towards the fire escape like a frantic conga line of brightly colored candies. Kate and I start to follow at a less panicked pace. However, I see that Madame Scorpion has started walking in another direction entirely. Receptive as always, she doesn't fail to notice my stare and turns to face me, eyebrow raised with imperious indignation.
Yes, Stanley? Do you have a question?
You said you turned off the cameras. How did you do that exactly?
An insightful query. Perhaps too insightful for your own good, darling. Do you really think someone of my stature wouldn't know how to deal with a few cameras?
You think they would perhaps not dress in such bright clothes for a sneak job? You can't really, pick your uniform when you're a henchman, so...
I guess not, but...
I trail off, not daring to finish that thought, pointing out that she didn't answer my question is more likely to earn her ire than an answer. Luckily, Kate takes my hesitation as an opportunity to step in.
We're just impressed. That's all, ma'am. You're in a tight ship.
Scorpion doesn't look the least bit flattered as she turns her critical eye on the shorter woman, looking her up and down.
I do indeed. And that means you'd better stop stalling and get up that fire escape. Don't you agree?
Yeah, when you're undermanned and out of luck, who do you call? Hench Kanji man, no job too big, too small. You'd be surprised how spot on that is to the actual slogan.
Right away, ma'am. Come on, let's get to climbing.
See, Kate gives me a light rap on the shoulder and a reassuring smile, and I mouth a thank you in return. Not everyone would risk Scorpion's wrath to help me out like that. Even though we pace ourselves, to climb up the fire escape is long, and I find myself a little winded by the time we reach the top. Damn, we're not even to the hard part, and there's already been so much work. Luckily, the henchmen ahead of us didn't do as good a job at pacing themselves, so catching up is easy. Not that Kate would have trouble going a little faster. She barely seems warmed up after that.
Hey, slow down. We're not in a rush.
Glad I'm in the developer's brain space, yeah.
What's the matter? Winded already? All we've done is climb some stairs. Come on, man.
No. Well, that too, but that's not the point. Once we catch up, get past the guys in the back, but don't get too close to the front, alright? Trust me.
Why? Is that your plan to get out of doing the hard work? Or are you still worried about the cameras?
Nah, not that. I believe Scorpion when she says they're off. That was genuine curiosity. For an isolated operation, cutting the cameras doesn't sound too crazy. But does she do this for every gig on the app? I know it's the digital age and all that, but it still doesn't seem like something that a person should be able to just do with the snap of their fingers.
No, you're right. Well, I have my theories. I'm kind of surprised you latched onto that detail.
I'll try to take that as a compliment. But all that aside, just trust me on this. The front and the rear are always the worst places to be on any team larger than a dozen. The guys in the rear have it the worst because that's where the superheroes usually show up. And the guys up front deal with the in-house security. But the guys in the middle, they usually make it. Well, unless it's just a big mess and everyone has to scatter. But I doubt that'll happen with Scorpion overseeing this in person.
Oh, yeah, that's good thinking. I never really thought of it like that.
Hey, Stan's been in a lot of these gigs. He knows what's up. As we catch up to the others, we casually slip past the guys taking up the rear and meld with the middle of the pack. I glance down at Kate and offer a thumbs up, which he returns along with an uneasy smile. Our patchwork team of mercenary henchmen is quite the odd sight, a mob of multicolored goons hopping along the rooftops. But with the cameras gone and the adjacent buildings either too short or abandoned, there's no one to appreciate the show. No one in the gaggle of henchmen seems to be particularly enthusiastic about it either. None of us know each other. Hell, I don't even recognize most of these uniforms. And everyone took Scorpion's line about minimizing chatter to heart. It's a weird vibe. We're technically a team, but not really. Eventually, we reach the target rooftop. The guys in front are both wearing green and gold uniforms, and they're either young or cocky because they walk right up to the roof access door and pull it open. I let out a sigh of relief. So far, so good. Still, as our pointmen start down the stairwell, Kate and I make sure to maintain a safe distance. Something's waiting for us down there. I just have that feeling. So it reminds me of the Batman clip of the goon walking into a room pretending to not notice the Dark Knight. Yeah. The stairwell from the roof is short, only meant to connect it to the roof, to the top level. It's not long before our little band of misfit henchmen enters the facility proper. Someone lets out a low whistle as our green-clad pointman opened the door, and while he was quickly shushed, I have to agree with the sentiment. What awaits us is impressive. Not all that tech-savvy, but my best guess is that it's some kind of server room. Rows and rows of uniform machines hum quietly in the darkness, glowing from the light of their blinking LEDs.
A server farm. That makes sense. You guys were on a data heist for your last operation too, right?
Yeah, we were. You figure that's what we're after here, too?
It would fit. Scorpion doesn't do things randomly.
I nod in agreement. Before we can discuss anything further, our vanguard is waving for us to move, and the whole group starts creeping slowly forward. The rows make it a tight squeeze for even two people to stand shoulder to shoulder. It's like a futuristic library in here. I glance at Kate and find her looking back at me, jaw set. I nod, equally tense. This would be a bad spot to run into that trouble I'm expecting. Which of course means...
Guys, flashlight, 10 o'clock. Guys!
I turn my head and immediately see it, fading and growing brighter as it passes between the aisles. Unfortunately, the green and gold duo in front doesn't. Not until they step out into the next aisle and right into its path. Immediately, the guard lets out a shout, and while the green henchmen reach for their weapons, the guard is faster on the draw. A sharp electric crackle cuts through the air, and a heartbeat later, both the henchmen fall to the floor, twitching violently as sparks run across their uniforms. Already the other henchmen are scrambling every which way, any sense of discipline shattering almost immediately. This is bound to go sideways real fast. Kate rushes to grab at the nearest of our would-be teammates, trying to keep them from scattering.
Hey, get back here! We need to stay organized!
It causes some of them to hesitate, but not for long. If I help, maybe we could convince everyone to stick together and find a way out of this. On the other hand, if we just let them run around like a bunch of idiots, they could make for a nice distraction. That's why we didn't take the lead, after all. Whatever I do, though, I need to decide quickly. Alright, team. Use them as a distraction, or organize them? Order, time to be a leader. Well, what does everyone else think? So yeah, I'm thinking like organize as well. The weak should fear the strong. It's time to become the villain. Alright, use him as a distraction it is, apparently. I reach out and lightly grab Kate's shoulder. Distracted, she loses her own grip on the henchman she was trying to wrangle.
It's too late. They've lost it. This is why we stayed in the middle of the group, remember?
But if they don't get it together, this whole thing is done for.
No, they're done for. This whole thing keeps going with or without them. You think Scorpion's gonna bat an eye when she sees that half these guys are missing?
No, she definitely won't.
Exactly. So we might as well take advantage of the distraction to make sure that we're in the half that makes it.
All right, fine. I guess we're playing this cutthroat style. So we have our distraction. What do you want to do with it?
Okay, offensive or sneak out? Do we wreck the guard or do we sneak out and just leave the others for dead? Balls to the wall, all in. That does sound fun. No, one for sneak, one for offensive. Balls to the wall, go on the offensive it is.
We need to go on the offensive. If we pick our spots, we can tip the scales in our favor without too much risk.
He's doing it on purpose.
So you want to swoop in and steal all the glory, basically.
I'd hardly call it glory, but hey, we get paid based on how well we perform, right? So if we end the fight and look good in the process, that's a win-win in my book.
You sure you're new at this app? You seem to have already figured out how to crush the competition.
Nah, I'm just lazy. I find the easiest path to success, and I take it. Which in this situation should be right over...
Kate points to a pair of guards who just entered the room and are running towards the fray.
Those two. They've got tunnel vision, and cutting the enemy off from reinforcements is critical in the situation.
I raise an eyebrow. She sure switched to tactical mode on a dime. Seems out of character for Kate, but then how well do I know her?
Okay, you got it, General Patton. I'll cut them off and you flank them. Sound good?
Sounds good.
With the final nod of confirmation, I pull out my baton and move to intercept the unsuspecting guards before they can join the fight. Baton in hand, I jog forward through the endless rows of servers, lights whizzing through the corner of my vision in a blur, though I make sure to conserve my energy. And it's a good thing I do, because as I round the corner, I come face to face with a pair of guards. Luckily, the chaos from the other henchmen running around like headless chickens distracts the father off of the pair, and he leaves to try and chase them down. As he runs out of view, I see a short purple blur chase after him. Damn, Kate can really move. Similar scene plays out with the other guards in the distance. It's like one of those cartoon chase scenes where people keep running in and out of doors in a single hallway, but with way more people and way less dignity. Nice Scooby-Doo reference. See, that just leaves me with one guard to deal with. Okay, I can handle one.
All right. You can either walk away or...
Or charge at me like a maniac, apparently. I manage to give him a good whack on the shoulder as he rushes me, but his other hand still manages to reach out and grab a fistful of my uniform. Before I can react, we're both colliding with a rack of servers and he's clawing at my face.
What the hell, dude? We both look so stupid!
I punctuate each word with a swing of my baton, smacking the guard on the back. Jesus, what kind of security firm did this place hire? The bludgeoning loosens his grip, and I manage to push him off of me. Quickly, I step back to gain some distance.
Okay, you asked for it.
General patent pending. Boo! Boo, Damer, boo. I raise my baton and prepare to charge, but pause when I see movement out of the corner of my eye. Is someone hopping on top of the server racks like a ninja? No, not just someone. It's Kate. In two strides, she leaps onto the adjacent rows of servers, and with a third, she sends the sole of her foot careening towards a guard's chest with a flying kick. The wind is immediately knocked out of my assailant, and he stumbles backwards until he literally bounces off of another server. By then, Kate has landed and is there to not only catch him before he collides with the floor, but immediately turn that into an armbar.
I was teeing that one up for you.
I could tell.
With some effort, Kate pulls the zip tie out from her belt and secures the guard's wrist to one of the server racks. Her foe subdued, she twirls out of the armbar, swipes the man's taser, and fires it just past my shoulder. I whirl around to find a second guard already falling to the ground, convulsing from his co-worker's own weapon.
That one was all me, though.
I turn back to offer a snide remark, only to find a third guard running towards Kate from behind. Lacking any kind of projectile, I run forward and dive into a baseball slide, swinging my baton at the man's shin. It connects and he trips forward, yelping in pain. Meanwhile, I scramble back to my feet, fumbling with my baton. Where the hell was that shock switch? Oh, there it is. A jolt of electricity surges from the end of the baton, and a moment later the guard lies unconscious.
And that was all me, so we're totally even. As long as we're not counting style points.
Oh, we definitely are. Now come on, let's wrap this up.
Thanks to the distraction provided by the other henchmen and Kate's secret ninja skills, that doesn't take too long. There aren't many of our merry band left afterwards, but we're in the clear. I feel my phone buzz. Pulling it out from my belt reveals that it's a notification from the Henchcan app. And judging by the reaction of those around me, we all got it.
North stairwell, down 3 floors.
I look at Kate, she shrugs. Better do what it says. Finding the way down doesn't take long, but we double and triple check our corners before entering. Getting caught in a cramped stairwell would be bad news, considering our losses already. Glad our man is so sturdy. He's surprisingly sturdy for just a random dude. He has been punched by, like, this game's equivalent of Superman, which is just massive tomboy. Which is like, yeah, I'll take it. Our caution slows our pace to a crawl, but fortunately it's an uneventful descent. Soon enough, we open the stairwell door to find...
More servers. Is this whole building filled with them?
Don't doubt it. Classic Madam Scorpion target. But what's this place doing in the middle of the city? The only places with this much sensitive data that I know of are intentionally isolated.
Wait, you've been to one of these places before?
Yeah, I didn't hear no bell. Before Kate can answer, a metal clanging sound echoes across the room. We turn to find a severed metal limb roll to a stop a dozen meters away.
Don't be frightened. It can't hurt you.
With a swagger that your garden variety egomaniac could only dream of, Scorpion saunters into view, holding her energy sword in one hand and what appears to be a decapitated robot head in the other. No, not the robot! The black duffel bag is slung over her shoulder, though she moves like it weighs nothing at all. Bucky, what'd she do to you? She took your arm. Hey, there we go. Damo knows my buttons. He knows my buttons. Where is it? With a wicked grin, she holds the sparking robot skull up to the eye level, like she's in a cyberpunk rendition of Hamlet.
Isn't that right, my friend? Yes. You and all your ilk aren't a threat to anyone right now, are you?
Jealous of that Scorpion, to be quite honest. Yeah. Because it's shiny, obviously, yeah. Out of a sense of morbid curiosity, I dare to peer around the corner, even brace for a scene of carnage. The sight is disturbing. A pile of mangled robot parts flows across several of the aisles. There we go. Of course, I know your buttons have been watching you for 4 years. True, true. Twisted metal limbs and weapon barrels protrude from the heap, and oil pools like blood across the tiles. Scorpion's done more than destroy them. She's diced them to bits.
But we can't just have them lying around like that, can we? It's unsightly. So, Stanley, darling, you're coming with me, but the rest of you?
She tosses the duffel bag to the ground.
Your next task is in there.
The other henchmen just stare at the bag nervously. All but Kate, anyway, who's looking at me.
Hey, be careful.
We gotta be nice. Yeah, you too. Kate smiles and wraps her knuckles against my shoulder. With that, my peer steps forward, offering Scorpion a salute before kneeling down and opening the bag, revealing cleaning supplies? I guess she wants to literally scrub the place of evidence. Glad I'm getting out of that. With an apologetic shrug, I rush to catch up with the supervillain's long, graceful strides.
Thanks for choosing me, ma'am. for, whatever this is.
Like this man learning
I
to not
appreciate
leave
it.
important decisions to chat. I like chat interaction with the game, alright? But that one was very clearly, oh, let's be nice to Kate. Because everyone loves Kate. Kate is great.
Don't bother. Your ability to shirk any duties related to manual labor simply makes you more useful to me here. Nothing more. And I'm curious to know how the operation has gone for you so far.
Now you know how these things are. Pretty routine. If you've broken into one data center, you've broken into 100.
Yeah, Kate isn't going to murder us, exactly.
Don't play coy, Stanley. The question was largely rhetorical. I know exactly how everything happened. First, you elected to stay in the middle of the group with your partner. A prudent measure, and one that quickly
Yeah, not
paid
immediately
dividends as
anyway, yeah.
things, how to put it gently, broke down. Yet you took advantage of that confusion quite well, I must say. Any fools who lose their composure so easily are good for little else beyond a distraction in combat. Oh, and human shields, of course, but I doubt you'd have the strength to carry them around with much grace.
That's not what you're bringing me along for, is it?
Oh, Stanley, what an absurd question. I'd never tell you that.
Oh,
Deception
cool.
is the key to everything, including and especially martial conflict, which is why your little counterattack went so well.
Yeah, hitting them while they were distracted definitely made it easier. And Kate was a big help, too. Where'd you guys find her? She pulled out some MMA cage fighter type shit out of nowhere.
So she
Mommy?
did.
Sorry. Mommy? Sorry.
I'll be sure to look up her profile.
As we talk, we move deeper into the room, passing row upon row of servers. A few beats of silence pass before a thought occurs to me.
How did you know what was going on up there anyway? Were you watching?
In a manner of speaking, yes. I would think that was obvious.
But not in person, right? You couldn't have. Did it have something to do with the cameras?
Is it just me? Is it getting hot in here? Dude, I know you're from Australia like me, so, you know, it's just a normal day.
Persistent about that, aren't you?
It's just a normal day here.
Very well. I'll give you a hint. But only because I like you. Yes, it has something to do with the cameras. But not in the way you think.
In what other way, then?
Stanley. One hint is all you get.
Understood, ma'am.
We continue to walk in silence for a few moments until I find my gaze lingering on the severed robot head that Scorpion is carrying.
Can I ask a totally different question, though?
Existential speech didn't completely turn her off, lads. Yeah, let's go!
You may. So long as you are.
She doesn't hate us as much anymore.
Sure. Look, it seems pretty clear that you didn't need any help with this job. So why bring us along at all?
Need? No, of course not. I don't need anyone. People are more of a luxury good. They can make things go faster, more smoothly.
Anyway, she's totally using the app to control/watch every henchman in the app in order to get a leg up on the competition. Maybe, maybe not.
Like with the cleanup.
Yes, exactly. And
In
those
all
that didn't
honesty,
make it
I
past
can't
the
remember.
upper
It's been
floor
like a year and a
played their
half
part
since
as
I played
well.
this for the
Drawing
review.
Creating a mess that's just waiting to be found. Whoever finds that will surely assume that my target was on that floor. And why not? The company who stores their data there is a weapons manufacturer after all. The perfect red herring, don't you think?
But what you're after is here instead?
Precisely. And when our friends have cleaned up the mess, no one will suspect I was here, among terabytes of private data scraped from the far corners of the internet. So while some hero or agency spends weeks chasing down a fake lead, any trace of the true theft will have disappeared.
Smart. She turns to me with a devious grin and winks. I cough into my hand and avert my eyes, wilting under her gaze.
You're bashful all of a sudden? What happened to that bold charm?
I locked it away. At your request, I might add.
Such a good listener. But I hope you didn't throw away the key. Boldness does have its place.
I'll keep that in mind.
I cough again, but it does nothing to get rid of the heat I feel on my cheeks. He's blushing. By now, we've passed the last row of servers and reached the very edge of the room. A thick metal security door stands before us, controlled by a nearby keypad.
Hold this for me, darling.
Without bothering for confirmation, Scorpion shoves the hilt of her beam saber into my hands. Though I fumble it for a second, I quickly gain control and immediately lock it into a two-handed death grip. Meanwhile, the supervillain puts her free hand on the keypad and closes her eyes. Out of the corner of my eye, I see her grip tighten on the robot head, causing the metal to squeal in protest. Soon enough, the keypad turns green and I hear the sound of the door's locks disengage. How did she do that? I think back to my question about how she saw what happened on the top floor. There's definitely a connection there, but what is it? Or is this yet another juicy red herring? I wouldn't put it past her. Screwing with people seems to be her favorite pastime. I'm clearly in her crosshairs. In fact, when her eyes open and turn in my direction, that's exactly what they look like. Crosshairs.
Now, Stanley.
Defining characteristic of Scorpion's big, meaty claws. She removes her hand from the security panel and slowly reaches towards me, smiling in a way that is equal parts alluring and foreboding. Even though I've seen it before, I can't help but find it unnerving. With a self-satisfied hum, she plucks the hilt from her weapon from my hands.
Would you kindly step through that door?
Yes, no, or I like the view better out here. Do we charge in, we say no, or do we do what Stanley does best and just glib? Oh, hello, I'm being pinged on the Discord. Nothing too important, alright. View is great, it's quite aesthetic, really. Very pleasant day, temperature is nice. We have anything to break the tie. The exquisite work of the computer bits. In the mod, I get 2 votes. You know what? Just because, like, nothing that Bruno has voted for has ever actually gotten anything. Let's do it. Screw it. Whatever's behind that door could kill me, so I might as well go out with no regrets.
Nah, I like the view better out here.
Oh? I can only assume that you're speaking about the servers. Or perhaps you've spotted your own reflection somewhere.
Can't say that I have, though I am pretty damn handsome.
Let's not get carried away.
Well, if you don't think I'm handsome, what is it you like about me? It must be something. First, you invite me to this after-hours
Yeah, I wonder
side
what this
hustle,
odd
then you
timeout
invite
button
me over
does.
here all alone.
Careful, Stanley.
With casual grace, Scorpion stalks even closer, something primal burning behind her golden eyes. When she smiles, I swear I can see fangs.
Lest you forget your place. I brought you here as a professional.
And if I don't want to be a professional?
Oh? What do you want?
Scorpion laughs and moves closer still. I can see my reflection in her eyes. I feel her breath tickle my nose.
But that's a question for another time. Think on it.
So did we gain from this, or...?
If you survive.
Alright, never mind. Suddenly, I caught up in a blur of motion. The door swings open violently and I feel someone grab my arm and send me hurtling towards it before I have time to react. Even though I know that it must have been Madame Scorpion who did it, she moves so fast that I can't actually see her do it. One moment I'm staring right at her, and the next all I see are shadows. Seriously, that's all I see. Even as I stumble to a stop inside the room, I have trouble finding my bearings. Why is it so dark in here? I start to fumble for my flashlight, but before I can, I hear a machine whir and metal groan. It's a pair of glowing red eyes come to life right in front of me. Uh-oh. Soon the eyes are joined by a veritable constellation of LEDs, and from the dim foreboding light, I can make out the massive frame of yet another robot, slowly rising to its feet. All 4 of them. Yeah, abort. 4 feet? Why did it need 4 feet? Why does it need to be like 3 meters tall? Why does it need all those guns? Oh, right, the guns.
Shit!
I scramble to the side, desperately searching for cover. Out of the corner of my eye, I can see the robot's weapons tracking me. I'm not going to move fast enough. Someone else does.
Thank you, Stanley.
In a blur of black and red, Madam Scorpion streaks into view before the deadly machine can open fire. While it quickly turns to face this clearly more imminent threat, by then, it's far too late. Jeez, that's loud! The Scorpion's blade moves so fast that it looks like a continuous streak of light, painting a crisscrossing pattern of crimson across the machine's hulking form until it is practically covered in glowing crosshatches. As the pattern fades, the quadrupedal titan groans and then, all at once, collapses into a heap of minced plating and shattered circuitry. There isn't a limb or weapon barrel left intact. As the robot's bolts and shredded bits of armored plating roll around the floor, Madam Scorpion steps out from the darkness, tinkering with a knob on her weapon's hilt. Haha, game said knob.
The frequency was off a little. Those cuts should have been much cleaner.
With a flourish, she deactivates the energy blade and returns the hilt to her hip. Only then does she acknowledge me with a smile that seems even more dangerous than usual now that it's obscured in shadow.
But you were an excellent distraction, Stanley. Even if you were unwilling.
Thanks? But why did you even need one?
They kept this unit from connecting with the main network to mask its presence. Not the first time I've seen that trick, so I wanted to be sure that I wasn't walking into anything.
So they had a super secret robot just sitting in here, specifically to guard this room. What exactly is hidden in this data that you're after?
Hidden? Why, nothing at all. Just mundane details gathered from insignificant individuals.
Seriously? All this for some mundane details?
Individually mundane, but together? As precious as gold. You'll understand soon enough. But for now...
The sound of approaching footsteps interrupts Scorpion's order, and by the time I turn to find the source, Kate is standing in the doorway, breathing hard.
Ma'am, we heard a commotion from over here. Do you need any assistance?
For a second, it looks like she's about to ask a follow-up question, but that fades as soon as her head turns in my direction. At least someone here is concerned about my well-being.
Not urgently, so no. Is the cleanup complete?
I'm quite intimidated,
Just
sure.
about. The others should have it wrapped up momentarily. It was a struggle with the few hands we have remaining, but we got it done.
Very well. Then help Stanley with this last one. Don't leave a trace behind.
Yes, ma'am.
As Kate rushes over to help, Scorpion walks deeper into the room, starting to disappear into the darkness. After a few steps, she gives pause and leers at me over her shoulder, her face half covered in shadow.
Though I cut it short, I enjoyed our conversation, Stanley. I'd be open to continuing it some other time.
Sure?
I dare say I'd even desire it.
Chat, she likes us. Chat, she likes us. We're in. I swallow the lump that's formed in my throat and nod. At that, Scorpion takes her leave, slipping into the darkness with silent steps. By now, Kate's reached my side along with Scorpion's duffel bag and cleaning supplies.
You alright? What happened?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I want to
Not
play
used to fate,
SNS.
but now
Honestly,
you can
I'm
see-
surprised. Like, as someone who is a DM, I'm surprised you didn't vote for the game night. Because I know for a fact you would have loved that scene. I gesture to the pile of scrap that used to be an 8-foot-tall death machine. Kate nods in understanding and offers me a pat in the back.
Well, I'm glad it's lying there and not you.
As she gets closer, I can finally make out the details of her face through the darkness. There's blood on the lip and a small tear in her mask.
Wait, are you bleeding? What happened?
Oh, that. Yeah, we ran into a straggler. I think its pathing got messed up on the way here, so it was slow to respond to our employer's little mess. I took care of it, though. No big deal.
Wanted to see action. Hey, we got some action
Really,
out of this.
After what I saw, anything that could take you on must be at least a little bit of a big deal.
But like, personally, the S&S game is like my favorite scene in the entire game.
Oh, come on.
It's
Picking out
so
some
good.
underpaid
I
night
don't-
shift
I don't
muscle
wanna
isn't
spoil
much
it
of a feat. I know a
because
few moves, that's
I
it.
want people to play this for themselves. It is a fantastic game.
But seriously, I just got a little careless. I'll ice it when I get back. Now, come on. Let's get this sucker in the dustbin.
A few minutes later, I'm hurtling through the air, clinging to a zipline for dear life. Why a zipline? I asked the same thing. Scorpion said it was yet another red herring, but I think she just wanted to see if I'd scream. Well, too bad for her. I managed to avoid any and all squeals, yelps, and shrieks as I careened towards the parking lot, although my landing is hardly dignified. The momentum from the zipline carries me forward after I touch down, and I flail wildly before gracefully falling to the asphalt.
Did you have to push me again?
I turn to find the supervillain standing over me, having stuck her own landing without flinching. Not surprising. She could have probably jumped out the window and landed unscathed, honestly.
As if you don't enjoy it.
Right.
I start to scrape myself off the ground, but when I reach my knees, I find a purple glove held out in my direction.
And here I thought you had the agility of a panther.
2 panthers. They're heavy animals, okay?
Sure. Clearly, that zip line required a rating of 3 panthers or higher.
Taunts aside, I'm grateful for the help and happily take Kate's extended hand. Once I'm back on my feet, I dust myself off and start heading for the van. One by one, Scorpion and the remaining henchmen pile into the back of the vehicle. It's a lot less crowded this time, and some take advantage of the empty seats by stretching out. Scorpion uses one as a pedestal for the severed robot head she acquired earlier, possibly because she still needs it for something, more probably because she's a bloodthirsty sadist. Just before we close the doors, a shout echoes out from across the parking lot. It's one of the green-clad henchmen who had taken point. Apparently, the taser wore off.
Holy shit, I think he can actually make it.
He could have 30 seconds ago, but not now. And you should be glad that's the case. That's one less person who gets a share of the completion fee. I'd suggest closing the door, Stanley.
I look out towards the stranded henchman, desperately waving at us as he drunkenly stumbles closer. I imagine I looked just like that when I was fleeing Miss Dynamo on Wednesday. But this is Scorpion's show, plus she's right about the money. So, do we let the dude in and lose a bunch of money, or do we just close the door? do we be a dick and close the door on him? Found a shiny in Pokemon Emerald Rogue? Oh, yo, dude, nice. What was it? Sorry, bro. Let my man out. So we got 1 to let him in, 1 to close it. Close the door so you can say don't hit the door on your way out. Close the door. Ooh, shiny Sandile, nice. I always really like Sandile and, that whole evolutionary line. It's cool. I offer Kate an apologetic wince and then reach for the door handle. It slams closed easily. But it's a double door, so that leaves it half open with the matching door on Kate's side of the van. She's not budging, so I scramble over.
Wait, look, he's close.
I look out the remaining door, and Kate's right. He's not far. I only have to wait another 20 seconds or so. But the all-too-familiar sound of a human-shaped meteor falling to the earth puts an end to my hesitation, and I slam the door shut.
Thank you, Stanley. Driver, let's be off.
The van roars to life, screeching out of the parking lot as fast as it can. I can hear the green henchman yelling at us in the distance. Soon enough, it's accompanied by the sound of the aforementioned meteor finally crashing to the earth.
Scorpion!
Yeah, of course
Come
it's her.
out! You can't hide from me forever.
You know, I never had to deal with a pissed-off Miss Dynamo until I met you, ma'am. I mean, she still had zero problem kicking my ass, but she was a lot friendlier about it.
Because the game goes up to Gen 8, but you can set it to when what gen it goes up to. So I have it set so I can catch all Pokemon to Gen 8. Ah, alright.
A civil relationship with one's mortal enemies has little value, in my opinion. I prefer her this way. She makes mistakes when she's angry. And when I at last put an end to our little game, I want it to be raw. That moment when
Phrasing.
she realizes she's been raging and roaring against the inevitable, that will be something I can truly relish.
Put an end to your game? Do you mean...
Scorpion's head tilts curiously as her eyes snap to Kate. That alone causes Kate to trail off, though Scorpion herself doesn't reply for several moments, letting the silence hang as she examines my fellow henchman.
Kill her? Why does it matter? It's no concern of yours.
Scorpion leans a little closer, examining Kate's expression. I get secondhand nerves just from watching. I know from experience how it feels to have Scorpion stare into your soul like that.
You're too soft for this.
No, ma'am. I was just...
That wasn't a question. You are. Look at Stanley.
Scorpion gestures towards me so grandly that I feel self-conscious about my appearance.
He understands what this is. But you haven't grasped it, have you? And here I thought you'd been part of our program for longer than him.
Sorry, ma'am.
Don't apologize. You'll learn eventually, one way or another.
The supervillain holds her gaze on Kate for a moment longer before finally pulling away. As she returns to her own seat, she turns to me, placing one hand delicately on my shoulder.
This is but the first step down a new path for you, Stanley. Keep walking it with me, and we may find something beautiful at the end of it.
Sure. Got it.
She squeezes my shoulder just a bit too hard and smiles just a bit too wolfishly before finally returning to her own seat. I try to hide my nervous exhale as I lean back in my seat. Just the first step, huh? Why do I feel so exhausted by it? I close my eyes and try to let the rattling of the van rock me to sleep. It doesn't work. Some of the other henchmen try to start up some awkward small talk, but that doesn't work either. In the end, all we're left with is an uneasy silence even as we pass the city limits. Finished cleaning my keyboard of all the grime and oil. Thanks for the distraction. You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. A distraction. That silence carries on all the way until our pickup point, and even as we drop the remaining henchmen back at their own rendezvous locations. Before I know it, it's just Madam Scorpion, Kate, and I, all alone as we ride the helicopter back to Lord Bedlam's lair. We're not sure anyone even offered a goodbye. Not that this was a tightly knit group or anything. Even during our brief flashes of cooperation, we weren't really a team. That was the point. We were only united in that we all wanted an extra paycheck. You might say it was more honest that way. There were no self-indulgent speeches about how we're all brothers and sisters, no empty platitudes from a supervisor who calls me buddy but won't even recommend me for a cost of living raise. If you're good enough to get the job done and make it out, you're paid well. If not, you're left in the dust. Scorpion was right. I could make a killing like this. I'm good enough to... Well, until I'm the one left in the dust. How long could I stave that off, I wonder? I watch Kate wipe the blood from her lip with her knuckle. Even just one of these gigs takes its toll on people like her and I, so I'd have to play it smart. And if I did, I look at Madam Scorpion, who has spent most of the ride casually examining the robot skull she pilfered. Her thoughts a mystery. I could never have what she has, no matter what I do. I know that. And yet, she has me wondering, how close could I get? I'll never have her powers, but if I play this henchcan thing right, maybe, just maybe. No. One foot in front of the other, man. You got some extra money in your pocket and curried a little favor with the new boss. That's good enough for now. Or it will be as soon as I can collapse in my bed. And that's the night job! God damn, that was a thing. I barely remember collapsing into my bed when I finally got back to my room. I'm pretty sure that I fell asleep as soon as I made contact with the sheets. I knew the side hustle was going to be work, but I underestimated just how much of a toll it would take. It wasn't that crazy compared to some of the other operations I've been a part of, but I really underestimated how draining it is to do a second shift of anything after you've already worked a full day. It's going to be tempting to take more gigs, but if I don't pace myself, I won't be awake long enough to even enjoy the extra money. Unless, of course, my phone interrupts my hibernation, like right now. Ugh. Excuse me. Christ, what time even is it? Don't remember setting an alarm. My bedside clock reads 6:10. Definitely not an alarm, at least not one that I set. Someone calling me? I fumble for my phone and peer at the screen as I rub the sleep from my eyes. Don't worry, that's the game. That's the game. I forgot. I forgot it did that. I don't know why, but the, phone sound effect that I use is like the Discord notification sound. So that's going to pop up every now and then. So don't worry, it's not you. It's the game. Wait, does that say Madam Scorpion? I shouldn't be surprised that she has my number, but I don't remember getting hers. Regardless, it would be a bad idea to leave her hanging, so I hurriedly swipe across the screen to accept the call.
Ma'am, is that really you? And did you hack yourself into my contact list?
That was stressful. Man, who knew deleting your internet history could be so stressful? Yeah.
I assume those questions are rhetorical, Stanley.
Right. Compared to that place we broke into last night, I guess hacking my phone is child's play. Sorry, it's early. My brain has a long boot time, ma'am.
Well, I do hope I don't have to wait for you to install an update to your operating system. I need you awake. The game is afoot, as they say.
Awake. Got it. Elementary, madam.
I was thinking of Shakespeare, actually. Game is in prey. Henry IV, I believe.
Ah, the fourth. Best known for seizing the throne from the crappiest Richard, brutally putting down rebellions, and then being succeeded by a newer, shinier Henry. So, which one of those is this about? I somehow doubt there's a little scorpion running around somewhere, so that leaves...
The second one. That's why I'm calling you. I need someone that I can trust. And I trust you, Stanley. Or rather, I trust your motivation.
And what is that?
Come now. We're past the point of you playing coy, aren't we? Or do you get your thrills from the hunt?
Now who's being rhetorical?
Touché. You have certainly made your desires clear. It's uniquely bold. Not that I haven't dealt with bold pursuers before, but usually it's because they've deluded themselves into thinking they're on equal footing, or more foolishly, that they have the upper hand. It's rare from someone self-aware, especially when they're of your modest stature. I'm not sure if that makes me want to execute.
Is it bad every time I hear Madam Scorpion's voice, I think of Roz from Monsters, Inc.? The voices aren't remotely similar at all. I don't know what kind of things you're into, Damo, but I don't want to be a part of it.
Yes, I think I know which it is.
Do I get a vote? I'd like to have a vote.
That depends on how well you put down this rebellion, dear prince. Head to door 1385 and investigate. If it's an intrusion, deal with it. If you don't think you can handle it alone, call your supervisor. Is that understood?
Can I call you instead? Okay, so how do we respond? Wait, not Roz, it's Siri. Yeah, sure. It's a weird Discord not sound. Wait, was that the Discord sound or... Hold on. Did they change it? I don't know, because I remember hearing that sound before. But yeah, originally when the game first when the game first came out, the sound for the phones was straight up just like Discord notification sound, so maybe they changed that. But my brain recognizes the sound, but didn't actually put two and two together. Let's stop coming on to her. She scares me. She terrifies me even. Alright, so just play it fine, just perfectly. Alright.
Perfectly, ma'am. I'll take care of it.
Good. I expect nothing less from you, darling. See it done, Stanley.
Call ends abruptly and I place my phone back on the nightstand. Not surprising, Scorpion doesn't strike me as a no, you hung up sort of person. Hold up. That sound does sound similar, even though it's not Discord. Hold up. I think I know what that sound is. Give me a sec. Is that what I think it is? Okay, no. It is not what I thought it was. I just needed to double check. I was like, was that the sound that voice mod has for turning itself on and off? Please expect less of me, boss. See, the call ends abruptly and I place my phone back on my nightstand. Not surprising, Scorpion doesn't strike me as a no you hang up sort of person. I take a moment to rub my eyes and stretch before rolling out of bed. I'm so tired that the first few steps are wobbly, so I slap myself a little to jumpstart my system.
Come on, man. Get it into gear.
I snatch my uniform from the floor and give it a tentative sniff. A little ripe, but not too bad. Apparently I need a hurry, so it'll have to do. No time for my usual morning routine either, so in lieu of my toothbrush, I rummage through my nightstand for an old tin of mints. Expired 8 months ago. Probably still fine. Yeah, bro, we in our DMs, yeah. Chewing on my vaguely mint-flavored chalk and still zipping up my uniform, I hurry out the door. I walk through the halls at a brisk pace, completely unimpeded by traffic. The place is practically empty at this time of day, though I'd have at least expected to find one or two diehards patrolling the halls with gusto. The research wing is the same. I don't encounter a single guard on my way here. Surely someone was meant to have this shift. Is this a result of whatever Scorpion sent me to investigate, or did she just order the halls cleared herself? Either way, I need to be careful. Finally, I reach my hall. My familiar lonely hall, home to my equally lonely door, number 1385, right where I left it. But not as I left it, because miraculously the door is somehow open. I wasn't sure what I was expecting based on the vague information Scorpion gave me, but an open door with no one around wasn't it. Silently, I pull out my baton and inch forward. Whatever's in there, I'm determined not to let it kill me. I spent too many hours guarding this door to die the moment I finally walk through it. The closer I get to the door, the more carefully I step. By the time I've reached its precipice, I'm practically tiptoeing. I pause, listening for some clue as to what might await me inside, but all I can make out is the whirring of machinery in the lairs overtaxed air conditioning system. I debate calling Dave, but think better of it. He'll either charge right in like he did with Shining Nova, or abandon me to supervise something else like he did with Miss Dynamo. I need to handle this myself. I take a deep breath and step inside. Well, holy shit. This is a lot bigger than I expected. And what the hell is that? A monolith of a machine can't possibly be a computer, can it? I don't see what else it could be. There are no visible pipes or mechanisms, just wires, and it looks like it houses circuitry. Also, that's a very unfortunate shape for it, too. Getting some serious I can't let you do that vibes from this thing.
This has been here the whole time? I come in peace. Hopefully not evil AI person. Please don't sick any robots on me. I've had quite enough of that recently, thank you very much.
I'm sorry, it is too late, Stan. Now I must turn you into a cyborg and enslave your mind. Don't worry.
Hi, Kate.
We're
What's
still about
up? What are
3
you
decades
doing in
away
here?
From any serious threat of an uprising, and there's a good chance the robots get too distracted by social media to actually overthrow the government.
See, you say that, but 2 years after this game comes out, and AI is getting scarily good already.
Kate? Are you responding to the alarm too?
Kate's the
I didn't
best,
think you had
yeah.
a shift this early.
I stow my baton and walk over to greet her.
Glad you do, though. If I don't find whoever tripped it, my ass is on the line. Any signs of what they were up to? Doesn't look like this place has been disturbed too much.
Well, the answer to both of those questions is yes. And no, there's no sign of anyone else. And as for the alarm, I guess you could say that I'm investigating it.
Wait, time out. Are you saying that you broke in here?
It's a little more complicated than that,
but...
Just a little bit.
What does that mean, exactly? Seems like a yes or no question.
On instinct, I take a step back and my hand inches towards my equipment belt.
Whoa, hey, just wait a second, okay? At least let me explain. I know we've only known each other for a short time, and we're not much closer than acquaintances. It would be perfectly reasonable for you not to trust me right now. But you have something, Stan. Madam Scorpion would call it potential, but I think that it's something different. The capacity to change. And not just upward, towards a stable bank account and an apartment with a window, but outwards, towards understanding other people. All of which is to say, there are some things you deserve to know. About me, about this place, about Scorpion. Everything. I just need a chance to explain.
All right, explain away. Starting with exactly why you needed to get into this room. Is this why you were so curious about the door on our tour? Did you know this was in here?
Sort of. I knew something like this was in here, but not this exactly. I didn't think they had enough time to set a unit like this up, but Scorpion and Bedlam must have been working together for longer than anyone thought.
So this machine is Scorpion's? I guess that makes sense. Lord Bedlam isn't exactly at the cutting edge when it comes to technology. But what did she put it here for?
And that's where things get complicated. Think, what do you know about Madam Scorpion, outside of the whole assassin thing? What are her skills, her interests? She was Bedlam's partner on that job Wednesday, right? She showed up personally for it, even intervened. And what was she after?
Yeah, because, like, we went from, like, stealing pet food to, like, data theft out of nowhere.
Data. Not really sure what kind, but it was a private tech company. No weapons, no financials. I never really figured out anything more specific than that.
And her business, the Scorpion Group. They've got this new Henchman app, right? Others too. And how do apps identify, recruit, and monetize users? Data. The private kind that companies aren't technically supposed to keep, but always do.
Because, of course.
Okay, I follow you. But is that really all this is about? An app for hiring meat shields?
No, it's more than that. Think about it. You were part of her second data heist in a week, and those are just the ones you know about. That would be overkill for a few apps. And it's more than a business asset to her. Come on, you saw her in action last night, didn't you? Think about how she acted. Did she say or do anything that felt off?
Yeah, actually. Remember that thing with those guards in the first room? She knew every detail about it without even being there. And when I brought it up, she started this whole cat and mouse thing. Somehow, I think she was tapping into the security system there. Then later, before I got turned into a decoy, she was able to hack open the door just by touching it. And I didn't notice her carrying anything to actually take that data with her, now that I think about it.
That sounds consistent. So, based on that, clearly she can communicate with complex inorganic systems. What do you think that means?
Oh my god, Madam Scorpion's a robot! I thought you said we had 3 decades!
God damn it, Stan, shut up.
What? No, she's human. She just has powers that let her brain work like a robot's. Sort of. It doesn't officially have a name, because she's the only known case, and she's not exactly forthcoming on the details. I like to call it cerebral superprocessing. On a basic level, she appears to
That
absorb
makes
and
no
process
sense.
data subconsciously, way beyond the rate of a normal human. However, it's expanded to a variety of physical and mental abilities.
Right.
Hey, it's
so that's how
superhero
she was
stuff.
able
It
to hack that
doesn't need to
door.
make sense.
She must have some kind of superhuman Wi-Fi, too.
Sure, if that helps you understand it better. That Wi-Fi and her enhanced physique.
Yeah, it's
could take a
7G.
nanotech that rides off of
She's
her
working on
powered
the
torpedoes,
7G network.
or a completely organic evolution of her baseline abilities. It's like I've been telling you, she's uniquely dangerous. And since you've been caught in her gravity, well, I figured you ought to know.
Gravity's a word for it. Stalking, too. She hacked herself onto my contact list and called me this morning. That's why I'm here.
Not that I'm complaining about nabbing a smoking supervillain's number without having to lift a finger. Though I suppose she'll give me something else to complain about if I don't get this handled.
I guess I caught her attention somehow, though I'm not sure if it's the good or the bad kind of attention.
It's never the good kind, Stan.
What, are you jealous? Didn't take you for the type.
Believe me, I'm not. And that goes for either of you.
All right, well, thanks for the info anyway. If I'm gonna be dealing with her a lot, it'll be good to keep in mind.
No problem. Like I said, you deserve to know at least that much. You might work for a supervillain, but the difference between someone like Lord Bedlam and Madam Scorpion is vast. You're way out of your league.
Kate, I'm always out of my league. That's part of the job.
Yeah, it's part of the job description.
But why the steroidal server over there? Isn't all that information in her head?
I'm not sure. Maybe it's meant to augment her power or cycle new sets of data in and out. Whatever it's for, she must think it's important. She's invested a ton in it.
Her and Bedlam both, it looks like. Or at least he paid for the paint job.
If that. As far as I can tell, your boss has basically turned into a supervillain shell company for the Scorpion Group. So he might have picked the paint, but paid for it? Doubted.
Good point. I don't think that dog food heist paid enough for a liter of soda, much less 20 gallons of paint. In that case, we'd better start hunting for whoever it was that broke in here. I have a feeling Scorpion's not gonna be happy if she finds out someone's been checking her secret supercomputer's browsing history, and we don't have any leads to offer her. Come on.
But what about the balloonie? Good question. I start to head deeper into the room, searching for something that can tell us what happened here.
Stan, wait.
Wait for what? Now you know I hate to pull rank, but listen to the vet on this one, okay? There are times to wait and talk things through, but this is not one of them.
I keep moving and Kate still doesn't follow.
I mean it. Stop. There's something else.
And I mean it, Kate. If we don't at least make the effort to follow this up, it's going to be bad news. Trust me. Now let's go.
Once more, I turn to leave. What if it was actually her browsing
That's the
history?
thing, Stan. I'm the one you're looking for.
Oh my god! Smoke rises from the scorch mark in front of my feet, stopping me dead in my tracks, mouth agape. I turn towards Kate to find her training a weapon at me.
Kate?
That's not my name.
I blink, dumbfounded, and glance at the weapon. Blue and white. Those are the same colors as...
Shining Nova.
Surprise! She's Paladin Iron Man that we fought at the beginning of the game.
There you go. Knew you'd recognize me eventually. Just had to jog your memory a little.
No way. It's just no way. This whole time I thought I'd be trading tips and banter with some rookie. Not a world-famous superhero. Guessed the wrong hero. Yeah, you were close. That's why I shut my mouth. How did I miss it? Were there signs? Maybe.
Sorry. Elephant tranquilizers tend to make things a little hazy.
Got the hearts for Iron Woman. Fuck.
But your memory didn't need any jogging, did it? No, you recognized me from the moment you got here. That's why you went right up to me during orientation. That's why you've been following me around. It's also why you busted out all those crazy ninja moves during last night's job.
Surprise.
And that's why... Are you telling me you left your name tag on so you could remember your fake name? Seriously?
That's why she freaked out when we joked about her name not actually being Kate. The signs were there.
Hey, it's tough to keep everything straight when you're going undercover. There's nothing wrong with a cheat sheet.
It's one syllable. You work at the absolute cutting edge of robotics, and you can't remember Kate?
She's a stalker, got it.
It's just, I have a lot of names to keep straight, okay? Anyway, I was going to answer 3 questions as an apology for being dishonest with you, but I'm counting that as the first one. So now you only get 2.
I don't think that's gonna cover everything.
You'll make do. Oh, come on, fire away.
So Shining Nova's a cute girl. No wonder the crotch shot didn't work. Oh, okay. So, what do we go for? What questions do we ask? Shining Nova is a cutie. Shining Nova is a cutie. last 2, she do be cute. Yeah.
So, beneath all that high-tech weaponry and metal plating, Shining Nova's a cute girl. I feel like I just got the scoop of the century.
Cute, huh? Why use that adjective and not something like hot or fine as hell? I'm not a freaking bunny rabbit. I'm a grown-ass woman.
Alright, she doesn't like being called cute.
There's a spectrum for this sort of thing, you know? It's not a binary choice between Amazonian goddess and petite little flower.
Okay, I'm missing some context.
That's what I'm trying to say! It's all context! I'm not even that short. All these superpowered people are just really tall, alright? Of course I look shorter standing next to Dynamo. Have you seen her? She's a tank. She could curl my apartment building.
Clearly, we struck a nerve calling her cute.
And I can only make my shoulder pads so big before they affect my aerodynamics.
She's
I don't care
molding.
if the photo op looks uneven. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Alright then, so I guess cute has a lot of negative connotations we want to avoid.
A little more cute than hot, I don't know.
Sorry about that. Just been dealing with some shit with the association. You know how it is.
Not remotely, no.
Right, guess not.
But you really are pretty, in a very mature, non-bunny rabbit sort of way.
What grade did you get in that poetry class?
C+, baby.
Yeah, that's
Solid C+ student right there.
I appreciate the sentiment, though. Dork. All right, I'm counting that as one question. You get one more. Make it count.
Oh, okay. The questions actually change. Except the top one. Okay. So we got, you really think you'll escape? Sure you don't want to join us, or why me? I'm seeing a why me. C's get degrees, baby. They sure do. Everything else is gonna get answered the hard way, yeah. Have a question for God, why? It looks like why it is.
Why me? Because we had a short conversation and then you tranquilized me?
Boo,
That can't be all
Damo.
of it.
Boo.
No, well, yes. Kind of. It's complicated. This isn't coming out right. What I'm saying is...
Yep. Suddenly alarms blare, echoing through the lair's stone halls. The lights begin to flash, cutting off Kate, or rather, shining Nova, before she can finish her thought.
Shit, thought I had more time. Guess this is where we part ways. Unless... Come with me. I got what I came for, but that's just the first step. I could use your help with the rest.
How am I supposed to trust that after you just revealed that you've been deceiving me this whole time?
This isn't an angle, Stan. I'm honestly making an offer. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. All the bad luck and desperate decisions that got you here, you can undo them. A total reset. All you have to do is go out on a limb and trust me.
Or I could torpedo my career and live out my days in a trailer park somewhere, wondering when I'm gonna wake up covered in scorpion stings. You're asking me to risk what little I've built here on what? What guarantee?
I can't offer you one. But sometimes the only chance you have to break away from a system like this is to take that kind of risk. Sometimes you have to bet on yourself. So what do you say? Ready to make that wager?
All right. Major decision. Do we go with Kate, or do we, stick with our guns and try to take her in? What do we do? Go with a cute girl that doesn't like being called cute? Or, stick with Madam Scorpion and how scary she is, but possibly, be helping out like a really sick supervillain? Be the simp? But to who? Simp to Kate or Madam Scorpion? That's the question. It's always bet on Duke, not always bet on Stan. Listen, bro, the Scorpion has a wicked stinger. Yeah. Simp for Kate, her costume is better. Maybe we can get to third base before it stings us. Oh, God. Maybe she can hook up with us. Hook us up with a cool mask, maybe. Want to live past third base? Hey, but it would be the most amazing third base ever. Maybe Kate can take us sky high, bro. You've seen that one movie scene? God. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Go with Snoo Snoo? God. Alright, everyone wants to go with Kate. Let's go with Kate.
Okay. Okay.
We're
you convinced
officially a good guy now.
I'll go with you. No idea where it'll take me, but screw it. Chips on the table.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm taken aback by how quickly Nova lets her guard down. Without hesitation, she's lowered her weapon and starts casually walking up to me. With so much spring in her step that she's practically skipping. Yeah, always bet on Stanley. Still beaming, she playfully punches me in the shoulder, though she's so excited that it actually hurts a little.
And that's the exciting part of forging your own path. The possibility of it all. The world's laid out in front of you, Stan.
Not if we don't get out of here.
God, she really is cute. She is. She's adorable.
Oh, right, of course. Escape first, celebration later.
She hops and skips like a bunny. I can see why she's really annoyed at that. She motions to the door with her head.
Let's get moving. Main entrance is a ways off, but I think I figured out a way to get there that should avoid attention.
Main entrance? No way. Scorpion will be there for sure. Cafeteria is our best bet.
The cafeteria? Really?
Trust me, I'll explain when we get there. Now come on.
Okay. You take point then, Mr. Ex-Henchman. You won't regret this. I promise.
We'll see.
I still have my doubts, but at this point, it doesn't matter. If I'm doing this, I've got to be all in on it, or the odds are good that it ends with me getting carved up by an energy sword. Okay, Kate, where's the big pow wow shiny suit? It just bust out. See, so with Kate right behind me, I start jogging for the exit. She could probably go a bit faster on her own, but I know if I push myself too hard, I'll just be a liability if we run into trouble. No, not Kate. Shining Nova. Christ, it's gonna be hard to get over. Superheroes just aren't like the rest of us. They're hardly even people. More like monuments. Big statues with shiny plaques, telling you that if you uphold your good old-fashioned values, work hard and get a little lucky, you can be larger than life. So to have spent this much time with one without even realizing it, well, it's jarring to say the least. Calling her Kate until we get a proper name. Hell, I went on a heist with one. Need to get out of here. We need to do it fast. Even with the alarms blaring, the halls are mostly empty. Only a skeleton crew is up this early. The research wing was always light on staff anyway. I glance at Nova, who as expected, is having no trouble keeping up. If we maintain this pace, we should be alright. Cafeteria is a lot closer than the main entrance, and I haven't heard an announcement that specifies us as the intruders. In our uniforms, it's unlikely that anyone but Scorpion herself is going to stop us.
Oh, hey there, buddy. There you are.
God damn it, Dave. Not now.
I heard there was an alarm at your door, so I went to your room to assign you the task of investigating it, but you weren't there. So then I thought to myself, you know, Dave,
Roll credits.
A true squad supervisor is always thorough when it comes to his team. And that's when I decided to check on your door myself to make sure everything was A-okay. How is good old door 1385?
Oh, you know, it opens and closes, like doors do.
Doors do open and close, don't they? Wait, it opened? That door's not supposed to open.
Oh no, not at all. It was just a turn of phrase.
How do you turn a phrase?
He
God damn
means
it,
that
Dave.
the door wasn't really open, just that it's capable of opening. Probably.
Oh, hey there, Kate. How are you this fine morning? Enjoy game night?
Oh, I actually had to catch up on some work, so I didn't get to enjoy it. How was it?
It's Dave from tech support. No, he's a supervisor. He's not tech.
Just
The last
terrific.
thing he knows.
Lord Bedlam was busy, so I got to be the race car in Oligarchy. But gosh, I didn't expect to find you
Monopoly.
here. I thought your squad was in the East Wing this morning.
I got turned around. You know how these halls can be.
Yeah, you know, right, buddy? Now we're really in a hurry, so...
The door was open, you turned a phrase, and now an unauthorized contractor was at a door with level 4 security clearance? Stan, I expect better than this from a senior member of our squad.
You're right, and I'm just so sorry, but we really have to...
You know what my great uncle Dave said about butts? Everyone has them, and by
God
golly,
damn it,
they
Dave,
really
shut
stink.
up.
So no
We
butt,
gotta
Stan.
go.
You're staying right here until we sort all this out.
Dave, listen. This is my fault, so...
No, I'm the senior henchman here. You're right, Dave. It's my responsibility.
What are you doing?
Dave, no one cares.
I can be held up. You can't. Keep going. I'll deal with this.
Sorry, can you speak up? All the excitement from game night really messed with my hearing.
Can we sock him, please? I look down at Nova. I can't see her eyes through the mask, but her jaw is set and her brow is furrowed in concern. I offer a weak smile and she sighs.
Don't you dare stand me up, asshole.
She lightly brushes her hand against my shoulder and then turns to go.
Well, this seems like a squad thing, and speaking of squads, I totally need to find my own, so...
Don't mean punching him, I mean literally shoving our sock in his mouth.
Well,
Thanks, Dave. See you at lunch.
Before Dave's brain can finish forming whatever thought he'd been working on, Nova is jogging down the hall, safely on her way to the cafeteria. Now, I just have to find a way to weasel my way out. Weasel my own way out.
Ah, jeez, I totally forgot. Madam Scorpion wanted to see me after I checked
Dave's
on the
brain
door.
forming
Super
thoughts, I
top
don't think
secret
so,
stuff,
yeah.
But I'll tell you everything you need to know about the door after that, okay?
sorry, but I need to check our protocol on this.
Dave reaches into one of his pouches and pulls out a small paperback book with Lord Bedlam's visage printed on the front.
Let's see. Yeah, it says I need to hold you here until you can be properly questioned. Gosh, I'm sorry, buddy, but it looks like you're going to be late.
Late? Dude, did I not tell you who I was meeting?
Don't worry, I'm sure she'll understand. It's protocol. Everyone loves protocol.
It's Lord Bedlam's protocol. Do you think Madam Scorpion is gonna give two shits what that little book has to say?
Well, she should.
But she won't.
Gosh, buddy, I don't know. You might be right about her. But if we just start ignoring protocol, what happens next? It's like a slippery
Dave,
domino.
please.
Once it
Just let me
starts,
go.
It just keeps on slipping.
I rub my eyes and sigh, trying my best to keep it together. Even if I had an hour, I'm not sure I could convince him to drop this. At least not through any conventional kind of reasoning. I just say when I'll stab Dave with my pitchfork. Might have to force my way past him, and that's a gamble. Dave doesn't have much, let's call it tactical instinct. But physically, he could really give me a hard time. Better to avoid it if I can. Maybe I just need to try a different diplomatic approach, something more personal.
You know, with all this talk about door 1385,
About time we just
I'm
make
getting a
Dave
little
disappear.
nostalgic.
Yeah, by
Remember the
paperwork.
conversation we had there this week? It was a simpler time.
It sure was, wasn't it? That was when you invited me to game night, right?
Well, of course I did. I couldn't leave my buddy out, now could I?
But you left us all out, remember? You were out on your mission with Madam Scorpion.
Bedlam's orders lie. Alright, how do we weasel our way out of this? Do we lie to him, say it's Bedlam's orders, say it's because I'm being underpaid or for the best? Yeah, everyone is saying lie. Lie or underpaid. Well, lie is the one that's winning at the moment, so let's lie.
Lord Bedlam wanted me to. Madam Scorpion's our guest, remember? And she's a supervillain too. So as a henchman, he said it was our duty to follow her orders like his own.
Well, that does make sense. Kind of like how it's your duty to follow your squad supervisor's orders, right?
I mean, not exactly, since you can't cut me in half with a laser sword, but sure, why not? Anyway, it's been nice reminiscing, but why don't we catch up more at lunch, okay? See you then.
I start to walk forward, but Dave holds up a hand to stop me. Damn it, I thought that might distract him enough to let me slip by, but his memory is better than I thought.
Whoa, just where do you think you're going, mister? We talked about this. You have to wait here. It's protocol. And protocol is protocol.
Alright. Do we converse our way through, or do we straight up just clock Dave? What do we do, chat? Do it the diplomatic way, or do we let our fist do the talking? That's what I thought. There will be blood. Shit.
You know what? Fine. Hard way it is then. But one way or another, I'm leaving.
I reach down to my belt and grasp my baton, not even trying to be subtle about it for some reason. I feel less tense than when I tried to take the peaceful approach. Like I've taken off a jacket that's a size too small.
I don't like your tone, Stan. Or the fact that you're about to unholster your weapon without my authorization.
Kill Dave. There will be no witnesses.
It almost seems like you're threatening your supervisor.
Let me save you a few minutes of thinking. There's no almost about it.
Check out this protocol.
I've been patient with you, Dave. Real patient. Like a monk in purple spandex while you strut around with that big grin on your face, reminding me how you're in charge. Like your job title makes you so special.
His voice actually changed. I almost feel threatened.
But it doesn't. When some Cape demigod crashes our little heists, you and I are identical to them. Whatever rank Bedlam may plaster on your ID, you're not above me. Not really. So when I say that I'm leaving, I don't think you can actually stop me.
I pull out my baton, snap it open with a flick, and press a button on its hilt. Sparks dance around its shocking coils in response.
But you're free to try.
Dave's eyes narrow and his grip tightens on the hilt of his own baton.
How dare you? You will refer to him as Lord Bedlam, Henchman 065.
Just like during Wednesday's operation, Dave acts without hesitation or thought. His baton has barely escaped its holster and the words have just left his lips, yet he's already charging forward. But I knew that would happen, so when he swipes at me with his baton, I'm ready to block. Even with two hands, I stumble back. Damn, I forgot how strong he was. I mean, he's no dynamo, but for a normal guy, Dave's got some real muscle. But he's mad, and even thinking clearly, he's not exactly a master tactician. If I can bait him in and wait for something particularly sloppy, maybe I can catch him with a counterattack.
Just surrender to the will of Lord Bedlam 065 and I'll only have your pay docked for a month. Don't make it worse for yourself.
Worse how? Would I have to spend even more time listening to stories about great-grandpappy Dean Dave Duke or the rest of your dumbass family?
It's great-grandpappy Dean Dave Dwaynesenberg and he was a saint!
God damn it. Now totally blinded with righteous fury for both Lord Bedlam and his endlessly bizarre family tree, Dave presses the attack, swinging wildly. I backpedal, parrying and blocking as best I can, but one particularly vicious swing slips past and clips my side. We brought Grandpappy into this, yeah. It's a glancing shot, but it leaves Dave emboldened. Now, with a triumphant cry, he lunges forward in a wild charge.
For Lord Bedlam!
Now's my chance. I don't have the opportunity to win a whole lot of fights, but with everything that's happened recently, I think I've picked up a move or two that might do the trick. Feint left but attack right, copy Kate's armbar, or lift with your legs. What do we do? I feel like everyone's gonna go with copy Kate's armbar. Kick him in the balls. Unfortunately, we don't have that option. Alright, so we have lift. Give him the suplex. Oh, yo. Please tell me we can suplex him. Seismic toss. Alright, so we have one for lift. Do we have any more input? F5M armbar, lift. Alright, we're going with lift. Yeah, I know just the thing. You probably won't grasp the irony in this, even if it was his own idea, but that's okay. I will. As Dave lunges forward, I drop down to a low crouch and step towards him. I feel his baton whiz past me overhead, a sound of dismay as he tries to slam on the brakes. It's too late. By then I'm already in position beneath his torso, legs coiled. With all my strength, I push upward, driving my shoulder into his chest and gripping his belt as I pivot around. Dave's momentum combined with the lift from my legs takes him off his feet, sent tumbling over my shoulder until his back slams into the ground, knocking the wind out of him. It's hardly a perfect judo toss, but the principle is still the same. As Dave gasps for breath, I jab my baton down sharply into his kidney, give him a little shock to put him down for the count. I take a moment to get my pulse under control, but I can't help but smirk a little.
Don't forget to put that ass kicking on your report, buddy.
I almost feel bad, but he really didn't leave me many options. I need to catch up with Nova or we could both be dead. Scorpion could find either of us any minute. I don't think that little stunt is going to work on someone like her. But no time to dwell on it. I need to get moving, so after taking a deep calming breath, I start off down the hallway at a jog, leaving Dave behind. You almost feel bad? I don't, yeah. I find myself moving on autopilot, winding my way through the fortress halls without stopping to consider my location. It's a big advantage I have over Nova, even if her pace is probably faster. So while it's tempting to push myself in an effort to keep up a steady jog, it's probably my best bet. Also, I just noticed they accidentally put in best twice. Just have to hope that it's enough. After a time, I start seeing signs of her escape. Some scorch marks, a few of my unconscious comrades, and eventually some distant sounds to match. Almost there. Try to calm my pounding heartbeat. This is really happening, isn't it? Even with my cafeteria shortcut, we're going to have to fight our way out of here. Am I ready for that? Doesn't matter. I guess it's happening anyway. I don't know what help I'll be to someone like her, but I've got to try. Signs of Nova's passing grow more dense, but something else joins the KO'd henchmen and blast marks. Long molten scars on the floor and wall, still glowing from the heat of what made them. I know what that means, but I'm still not ready for the sight of that awaits. Do it again. I know what that means, but I'm still not ready for the sight that awaits me as I round the next corner as I skid to a stop. Madam Scorpion looms over shining Nova, sword leveled and eyes gleaming in its flickering red light. Nova's mask flutters in the air between them, slashed cleanly in half, leaving her defiant glare unobscured.
There it is. That's the look I was hoping for. Such a selfish girl, hiding that behind flimsy masks and gaudy helmets. I could feel it last night, you know, even as you so futilely tried to subdue it. But resolve like that, it has a heat to it that can't be contained. I can't wait to watch it flicker and die.
Well, I can't wait to blast that smug little smirk clean off your face. So I guess that makes us even.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Whether or not you're adorned in your full armored ensemble, we're hardly even.
While Scorpion's eyes don't appear to leave Nova, I see a flicker of recognition. Her smirk grows ever so slightly.
Ah, Stanley. There you are. Well done. I dare say this little rebellion is nearly crushed. Henry would be proud, I'm sure. In fact, I think I'll leave the final stroke to you.
So this is our chance to hit Madam Scorpion with our long rod. Kate's gonna like watching it. Innuendo!
Be a dear and restrain this imposter? It would be fitting, I think, for you of all people to be the one to capture Shining Nova.
He's not going to do that.
He isn't.
That's right. He's not just some puppet for you to command. Stan's his own person with his own choices, and he's chosen to reject you. He's coming with me. From now on, he doesn't have to be henchman number 065. He can just be Stan, and whoever that might be is up to him.
Well, yes, so it is. Don't you see what she's doing? All Kate has done is lie to you, and this time is no different. Lies and manipulation.
Shit, yeah, shit indeed.
Stanley, listen to me. I called you for a reason. You've shown the potential for something more, but you have to see.
You ruined the surprise.
Do not concern yourself with the fate of this charlatan or anyone else. Our ambition is what matters. That's the game of power. And make no mistake, it is zero-sum.
Yeah, it's like, Kate, baby, come on, at least let us get a whack in with the element of surprise.
Regardless of what these self-proclaimed heroes may tell you, for us to win, others must lose, starting with her. Show me you understand that, and we can realize our ambitions together. Go on, Stanley. Do it.
Stan, Don't.
I...
This is it. Whatever I do next, I have a feeling there'll be no going back. Alright. Big choice. Do we keep helping Kate, aka Shining Nova, or do we abandon her at the last second to help Madam Scorpion, or just stand here and do nothing? If we flip again, does that mean we turn just so we could smack Dave? Yes! The game of power is zero sum. The Madam Scorpion's gonna kill us for whatever sum we acquire. Help Kate. Madam Scorpion is literally going to murder us the moment we have anything worthwhile. Good point. That's 1 for Kate. Do we have 2 for Kate? Kate's better than Scorpion. Alright. Yeah, it would be kind of a dick move. It would be kind of a dick move if we don't.
I won't!
I don't wait for a response. Before either woman has the chance to react, I charge forward, weapon in hand, right at Madam Scorpion. I can see the shock on her face as she finally turns towards me. Hard to blame her. Kinda surprised myself right now, if I'm being honest. It's like instinct and emotion took the wheel as soon as I made my decision. Guess you could call this a case of fight or flight, and for once I decided to fight. To really sincerely fight. We have to choose between 2 beautiful women who are oddly into us. Is this a harem visual novel? Surprise! Kinda! You thought this was about superheroes? No, it's a visual novel. Of course it's about waifus. It was never in doubt which of those Scorpion would choose. As I draw closer, her shock turns into anger and her sword moves to block my baton. The shift is so fast that it leaves me feeling like I'm stuck in the mud. It's a dating sim. Damn it, the Japanese got me again. Oh, God. But while my reflexes are too slow for the supervillain, there's someone else here who's a lot faster.
Get down!
Again, I'm too slow. I barely managed to put on the brakes before Scorpion drops into a crouch, hoping to avoid whatever Nova was planning. For a moment, it looks like Nova's concern for my safety is backfired. That is, until Madam Scorpion sees the metal sphere that she has practically fallen on top of. It beeps ominously as it rolls to a stop.
Oh shit.
I try to cover my eyes and turn away from the blast that follows, but it still leaves my ears ringing and my vision spotty. Through the haze, I feel someone grip my arm.
Come on, move!
I don't argue and my legs comply with Nova's request. By the time my vision's clear, we're racing down another hallway and Madam Scorpion is out of sight. For now, anyway. Nova's still leading the way and starts to make a right turn, yet even with the added confusion of the explosive, I recognize the hallway and I resist tugging in the other direction.
No, left. Cafeteria's this way.
Yeah, flashbang! There's a hint of hesitation in Nova's eyes, but it quickly disappears. With a quick nod, she follows me to the left.
You're sure about this cafeteria thing?
Her eyes are so cool. She has nice eyes.
Positive. Faster and there's a chance Scorpion doesn't guess we're headed there. Best bet. Honestly, I find it a lot crazier that you just rabbit seasoned a superpowered assassin.
It works more often than you think. Ask me about Dr. Calamity later. Later.
I love, like, the little world building of, like, whoever Dr. Calamity is, he always gets screwed over. I think that's, like, the 5th time he's been mentioned. That, like, he's been screwed over by, superheroes.
Right. Breathing time. Very important.
Dr. Calamity from Jimmy Neutron. There's a Dr. Calamity in Jimmy Neutron? I don't know. I didn't watch that show. Nope, I accidentally skipped that. My heart and legs are competing over which of them can protest more painfully. I can't afford to listen to them. We're nearly there.
Halt, you traitors! Halt in the name of Lord Bedlam!
There it is. I was wondering if we'd see him this stream.
Yes, tremble, you treasonous swine! Tremble before the sight of your doom! For I, Lord Bedlam, do not suffer fools, treachery, or long delivery times on Lair Dash!
Oh, God. Bro, you missed out Jimmy Neutron's childhood acid trip. See, I watched the Jimmy Neutron movie, And since that was technically the first Jimmy Neutron thing, I didn't really like it that much, to be honest.
And
So I didn't
like
bother
a
watching the
soggy bag
cartoon.
of fries, I shall toss your double-crossing behinds straight into the trash and see you branded with the 1-star review of righteousness. Now behold the glory of Lord. Oh, my glory!
As I sidestep Lord Bedlam's twitching form, I can't help but wince.
Did you have to blast him in the crotch?
Wasn't sure it would get through the helmet.
You seem kind of underhanded for a superhero.
Breathing, Stan.
Right.
I love Lord Bedlam so much. Doesn't eat soggy fries. Weak, yeah. We'll say the cartoon Jimmy Neutron was a bit better than the movie. Right. We burst through the cafeteria doors, and Nova hesitates again. I continue onward, waving her towards the far side of the room.
Kitchen!
She nods and resumes her pace, vaulting the counter while I run around it. Only when we're through the kitchen doors do I slow down. Luckily, it seems like the alarms have emptied out the whole cafeteria. We're alone.
Okay. There should be an exit to a loading dock. Phew. Oh god. Can you lung collapse from breathing too hard? Holy shit.
What's the chance that Bedlam is a freckled tape glasses wearing nerd? Oh, 100%.
Loading dock?
We can steal
Right,
some
for
baloney just for the
deliveries.
principle of it.
Thinking.
That's the last thing Stan would want to do, actually. Remember, he's been eating nothing but for a month. Gingerly, we weave our way past appliances and countertops until we're at the back of the kitchen. There are, in fact, several doors. One to the bathroom, one to a meat locker, and a third that looks promising.
This it?
I nod and she opens the door, revealing what looks like an empty concrete box. But one with thin beams. Thin beams of sunlight poking in through the crack in the large metal doors on the opposite wall. And I can't read.
Gate'll be locked, but there's a one-way hatch next to it. No keypad or anything, so no one will even know we used it.
So that's where the emergency exit is. Knew there had to be at least one way out without an electronic lock. That's just secret bunker architecture 101. Hey, how come this wasn't part of the tour? That seems like a serious safety oversight.
You just took my boss out with a laser to the nuts, and this is where you question our competence.
All right, I'll save it for the debrief. Come on, let's get that thing open before someone wanders in here.
Shining Nova and I enter the loading dock, letting the door close behind us. In the interest of covering our tracks, we leave the lights off, letting the blue glow of Nova's weapon illuminate our path forward. Once we reach the door, I wince at the sound it makes as I unlatch it, fully expecting to see the ominous red glow of Madame Scorpion's sword out of the corner of my eye with every creak and groan. No electronic lock? What is this, 1984? Hey, if no electric lock is actually good in this situation. But our luck holds, and the only light that enters the room is the blinding white sunshine that pours in once the door at last swings open. Nova exits first, and I stumble through afterwards, shielding my eyes from the sun, still squinting as I swing the door closed behind us, leaving only a moss-covered slab of metal with no latch or handle. Another minute or two passes before my eyes fully adjust, until now, following Nova's feet as she picks her way through the woods, so I take a moment to finally raise my gaze and give our surroundings a proper look. I don't recognize anything. Must have gotten further than I thought. As if my body is just realizing this too, I stumble and come to a halt. Nova turns around.
You okay?
I realize that I haven't seen her face this clearly before, thanks to the mask and the dim lighting of the lair. Her eyes are a russet brown, the glints of autumn flickering beneath the surface, like whiskey and coffee.
Yeah, just give me a second.
I put my hands on my knees and start to double over, but I feel Nova's hand on my shoulder. I look up, I find her smiling down at me.
Not yet, okay? Just a little further. Then you can rest all day.
Right. That sounds nice.
As I stand up straight, I lean on Nova for support and take a deep breath.
Thanks.
No problem. Like I said last night, I've got your back if you've got mine.
She offers a smile and a playful smack on the shoulder before resuming her hike, and I follow, albeit with more effort. As we walk, I try again to get a better sense of our surroundings. Though nothing is familiar, I can generally tell what direction we're headed based on the sun.
So, where are we almost, if you don't mind me asking? The highway is the other way.
Notice we still don't know why she invited us in particular since, she got cut off. Right. Yeah.
That's the point.
She...
I won't think to look in this direction.
Yeah, she
Makes
just
for a better hiding
she just
spot.
invited us because she thought, like, after hanging out with us for so long, she could kind of tell that it's like he's only in this for the money. So let's, you know, give him a better chance at life. What size, you know, your wheels, the ones that are gonna get us out of here, yeah?
Hiding spot? Oh man, tell me we're not camping. I mean, we technically had some survival training, but I would always smuggle some energy bars with me, and I'm fresh out right now.
As much as I want to see you struggle with a tent, no, it's not a hiding spot for us.
Then what?
Nova holds a finger up to her lips and smirks.
Let me show you.
Still smirking, Nova slips into the brush and disappears. Confused, but grateful for the respite, I lean against the tree trunk and wait. Silence doesn't last long. Yeah, work account, right, yeah. Be on your best behavior. In the distance, I hear a low, ominous hiss, the groaning of metal, and a series of quieter clicks and clangs. As that chorus ends, heavy footfalls replace it, stomping through the undergrowth until the shining armored conductor is revealed.
Just have to slip into something more comfortable. Think it suits me?
So yeah, there's our wheels.
Holy shit! I don't know where the rebels are hiding, I swear.
Oh, right. Hang on. Let me switch off the voice modulation.
There we go. Is mine really that much freakier than Lord Bedlam's?
Just more jarring now that I know what you actually sound like. Though you could probably make a quick buck selling that tech to guys like him if you want to pull a Scorpion.
I'm good, thanks. But speaking of Scorpion...
Nova's head swivels back and forth for a moment, scanning the forest. Now that I know who's in there, I can see the similarity in her posture and movements. It's surreal, like deja vu.
We're clear for now, but I can't say how long. Time to evac.
She extends an armored hand in my direction.
All aboard.
Are you going to carry me?
Obviously, fastest way out of here. Well, unless you want me to stuff you in the armor delivery pod, but I can't promise that will be any more comfortable. Don't worry, I won't drop you.
Trying to grab my butt, huh? How do we respond? I believe everyone wants to go with B. Wants to go with number 2. We do be caked up, though. We do be a bit caked up. We're going with the butt, we're going with the butt.
Is this just an elaborate excuse to grab my butt? I'm surprised, Nova. I thought a superhero would be above such base temptations.
How exactly do you think I'm going to carry you? Like, physically?
By the ass, obviously.
Yeah, just like one cheek in each hand as I hold you over my head or something? I don't think that would work too well while we're flying through the air.
Whatever you say, but admit it. You're tempted.
Fuck, that got me, actually. I really enjoy the writing in this game. It is actually, like, really well done and funny at times. A breathing mask smacks me in the face, cutting me off before I can blather on any further.
Just put on the mask, dork. It'll let us crank up the speed and altitude a little.
Fine, fine.
I put the mask over my face and secure the strap to the back of my head. When I'm done, Nova once again reaches out her hand. This time I take it.
Hang on. Don't forget. I've got you.
That suit is super macho. Yeah, it's supposed to, in the first stream, like, we actually fought against, Shining Nova. It's supposed to be, like, a bait and switch. It's like, oh my god, Shining Nova was a girl this whole time? Yeah. She did mention she couldn't make him any bigger, yeah. And it also means, you know, even if the crotch on the armor wasn't, you know, armored up, the crotch shot wouldn't have done anything as well that we tried to do. Still funny, though. The cold middle embrace is hardly cozy, but it is certainly secure. I think her joints have literally locked me in place. I'm in no danger of falling down, too. Falling down to whatever we're flying over. Yeah, definitely not much of a view either. I guess that's what I'd expect from Nova. She's more interested in making sure I'm protected than showing off. It was how she operated during the side gig, too. Unfazed, efficient, and concerned for the safety of people she barely knew. Me included. Women actually still feel crotch shots because it's still a very sensitive area, but it is funnier when they're immune completely to it. Exactly, yes. They aren't completely immune to it, but, you know, it doesn't affect them the same way it affects guys. See, how the hell did I end up caught in the orbit of someone like this? I feel like I've crossed some invisible boundary, like I was supposed to live my life in one neat little box and now I've left it. Can't even begin to guess where my destination lies, and not just a physical one that I'll end up when we land. That hasn't been the case for a long time. That as much as the wind racing through my hair and the roar of the thrusters has my heart racing. Issue 7, An Apartment on Olympus. See, maybe it's because of the adrenaline, but the flight itself seems short. For long, I hear the thrusters grow quieter and feel myself being pulled into a slow descent.
This is it. Hang on.
I hear the sound of some kind of hatch opening as we slow even further, floating gently downward until at last I hear the clank of Nova's boots and feel solid ground beneath my own.
Told you I had you.
So, like, do we still have the phone with the app, the supervillain app, the app made by the supervillain? I don't remember. I think we do, actually. And with that, she lets me go. I stumble forward on wobbly legs as they remember how to stand and squint to adjust to my new surroundings. It's bright, thanks to the large skylights, one of which slides closed above us. Guess that's how we entered. All that light in the large open floor plan sits in stark contrast to the cramped dark halls of Lord Bedlam's lair. I'd almost go so far as to call it luxurious, if half of it weren't covered in equipment and coffee cups.
Nice place. Very fancy for a backup workshop.
Thanks! The location really sucks if you can't fly, so I got a pretty good deal on it. But it's actually more of a live-work type of situation.
Oh, yeah. I see that.
I sidestep a stray bit of circuitry that's fallen off the nearby coffee table. Seems more like a work-work situation to me, but I can't really talk.
And there's nothing backup about it. This is the workshop. Everything that Shining Nova is and will be runs through here.
Ah. I guess I just figured you had a bunch of safe houses and villas all across the world. Seemed on brand, you know?
If I've got even one villa, that'd be news to me. I know I always make those which superhero is secretly a billionaire blogs, but this is it. The whole operation.
Well, regardless, it's a lot nicer than what I'm used to. No question there. Sometimes I forget that normal homes have windows.
No kidding. I was only in that lair for a few days and I feel like I have a vitamin deficiency. Speaking of which...
I hear unseen bits of Nova's armor twist and click into place. Moments later, the suit cracks open and she steps out like she's emerging from a high-tech cocoon. Wait, this isn't an Avengers situation. She's running this solo like Spider-Man.
Again, but I want to take in the
Kinda. We'll get to it in a bit.
Need it every once in a while. In fact, I think I'm gonna go change out of this too. No need to be Kate anymore. You good on your own for a while?
Yeah, sure. I'll just entertain myself by pressing buttons and touching the most dangerous-looking equipment while you're gone. You don't mind, do you?
I'll have to ask my roommate. Kepler 1604, activate Watchtower Protocol. Target zone Alpha.
So yeah, she's essentially just Iron Man. Suddenly Nova's armor snaps closed and it stands up straight, eyes glowing with purpose. I raise my hands and take a step back.
Joking, joking. I'll be good.
Yeah, I know. It's for your protection more than anything. I don't think we were followed, but better safe than sorry.
Yeah, not Jarvis, but Kepler.
Seriously, relax. I'll be back in a few, okay?
See, she winks and turns lightly on her heel. Already she's pulled off one of her gloves. Probably tosses it over her shoulder out of reflex. I catch it before it hits me in the chest.
You did a good thing today, Stan.
Is it
Try
time to
enjoy it a
panty
little.
raid? Oh god. I watch as Nova disappears through a nearby doorway, my gaze lingering for just a moment before turning to the glove I'm holding. Guess that's the last time I'll see Kate, isn't it? I turn the glove over in my hand, contemplating what that means until movement catches my attention. It's shining Nova's now empty suit staring back at me with hollow eyes.
Hey,
The suit does nothing.
you don't talk, do you? Maybe with a funky accent?
$20 says they're white and blue. They're striped. Suit says nothing.
That's a shame. I'd have given you an accent. Something you wouldn't expect, though, like Yiddish or Canadian. British computers are played out. Know what I mean?
Suit does not know what I mean.
Whatever, dude. I've got a vision, okay? You'll see.
With care, I set the discarded glove aside and take a good look around the room. Might as well explore a little. Where to start? Let's start off with the workstation. I wander over towards the large cluttered workstation that dominates half the space. Have the suit speak in an Irish accent? Oh god, that'd just be annoying. Multiple computers, notes, and armor components lay scattered across the workbench. The mess even spreads to the surrounding floor, like it's an overachiever blast zone or something. I tap one of the unfinished components with my foot. It wobbles a little, but thankfully doesn't spark or explode. It really looks like she makes and repairs every piece of her suit herself right here. No factory, no smartly dressed butler. Not unless you count the suit itself anyway, and after our riveting conversation, I certainly don't. This is how a top 20 hero lives, huh? Working out of a one-bedroom apartment like they've been trying to launch a startup for 5 years and those investors are right around the corner. For real this time. Like I said, it's a big upgrade from my old hole in the ground, but I expected something more glamorous from someone who rubs shoulders with the global superhero pantheon. Maybe that's just how Nova is. As my attention wanders, I pick up one of the many discarded coffee cups and examine the name that's written on its side. Nobody. Oh my god, she's a nobody! It's Kingdom Hearts all over again! Oh god! I snort. Okay, you lissies. Too paranoid to give your name to the barista? I suppose an apartment like this tracks there, but even so. Come, open your heart to darkness. Suddenly the Nova suit starts beeping as it turns around. It turns towards one of the windows, a proximity alert. I set down the coffee cup and follow the suit's gaze just in time to an all too familiar sight. Look who it
Hey,
is!
Galileo, what do you sit it up for? Did you make a pit stop on the way back or something? Thought for sure you'd beat me here.
When the suit doesn't respond, Dynamo taps on its helmet and peers into the visor. Their attention occupied, I try to scoot behind one of the pillars.
Not in there, huh? Jesus, don't tell me she's having this thing stand guard when she uses the bathroom. It's not like anyone could even figure out that this place exists, much less break.
Suddenly, Dynamo goes rigid and spins in my direction, cape whirling. I freeze mid-step and slowly raise a hand in greeting, hoping that my nervous smile comes across more casually than it feels.
Hey again.
Luckily, Dave isn't here. I'm going back in, like, going back to that magic trick thing we started off the stream with.
You, still want to see that magic trick? I'm sure there's some change lying around here somewhere, so...
Absolutely not.
She's got Saiyan hair? Oh god.
What the hell are you doing here, Sunshine? And where's Nova?
Why do you think? I was invited. Funny story, actually.
Before I can finish, Dynamo bursts forward. One moment we're talking, and the next my legs are dangling in the air. Dynamo has me pinned against the pillar with one arm.
No jokes, no bullshit. This isn't a bag of kibble. This is my friend. Where is she?
She presses me harder into the pillar and I wave my arms above my head trying to signal my surrender.
Holy shit, lady! I'm trying to tell you, she's fine! She's the one who brought me here!
I told you no more bullshit.
She raises me further off the ground. Crap, she's not going to buy a word, I say. Crap, crap, crap.
One last time. Where is she?
Right here, Dynamo. Now put the dork down.
Damn, she's athletic. Dynamo lets me slip to the floor unceremoniously as she whirls around. I catch a face full of cape as I stumble to find my footing. Luckily, Nova is there to steady me before I fall on my ass.
Christ, I can't leave either of you alone, can I? And you!
She turns to the empty Nova suit and throws her hands out in dismay.
You were supposed to be keeping an eye out. Are you really gonna make me review the Watchtower Protocol Code again? Come on, man.
Suit says nothing.
You should really give that thing a voice. I have a few accents in mind.
I mean, we could have guessed by how well she was keeping up with all that physical exercise. Yeah, true.
Later, Stan.
It's just in the uniform, she didn't look as, fit.
Okay. I'll just write them down or something.
Sorry, Nova. I was just acting on instinct. You never bring anyone up here.
I brought you, didn't I?
Well, yeah, we're a team. We had our own hashtag for a minute. This guy's just some dude. I know you've been working undercover, and sure, Sunshine's fun to mess with, but he works for a supervillain, Nova. Madam freaking Scorpion was personally protecting him.
Yeah, it's lean muscle, exactly.
Worked for a supervillain, past tense. And he was willing to fight Scorpion to help me.
Dynamo hesitates and gives me a hard look before looking back to Nova.
How do you know it's not an act? Another one of her traps.
I don't, but I trust him.
And I'm just supposed to go on that? Look, you're the smartest person I know, but...
In lieu of a reply, Nova turns to me and holds out her hand, palm up. There's something in it, a name tag that reads Kate. After a moment of hesitation, I take it. It isn't even torn. She must have removed it with care.
When I was wearing this, I was Kate. When I'm in the suit, I'm Shining Nova.
Nova, don't.
But here, you can call me Victoria. Victoria Vasquez.
And we have her real name.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Victoria. Surprisingly reckless. This would be a really good time to throw away that phone with the supervillain app, the app made by the supervillain. It would be, yes. It would be a perfect time. You know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna be, just up front. Yeah.
Nice to meet you, too. And thanks for trusting me with something so important. I'm still just Stan, though, no matter where I am or what I'm wearing.
I hold out my hand and Victoria gives it a firm, exaggerated shake, letting out a small laugh as she does it. You can practically hear Miss Dynamo rolling her eyes in the background.
What about what you're not wearing? That factor into it?
Nah, Stan's my stripper name, too. See, it's so good because they'd never suspect it.
I didn't need that image. No one needed that image.
God damn it.
That's not what my tips say. But seriously, thank you.
I love
know
Stan.
that you
He's
wouldn't tell your real
great.
name to
He's
just
hilarious.
anyone, as several baristas can attest to.
Oh, you saw that, did you?
You should see how she orders takeout.
Stan the stripper
It's like
has a
pizza
ring.
scavenger hunt.
There's a system, and the system works. Or maybe next time you'd like to pay for all those mozzarella sticks yourself, Miss Superpowered Metabolism.
Hey, you leave Mama Mozzarella's signature sticks out of this. Those are sacred.
Nova, or rather Victoria, scoffs at Dynamo's quip and shakes her head.
Well, I take it that means you're satisfied then? No more trust issues with Sunshine here?
Yeah, I'm satisfied. But you didn't have to go that far, Victoria.
Maybe not, but we can't afford any division here. Stakes are too high, and our enemy is too dangerous. If we're going to stop Madam
Haven't had
Scorpion
mozzarella
and
sticks in
Kyle,
literal
the three of
years.
us
Yeah,
need to
dude,
trust
same.
each other. We won't stand a chance.
Just unfortunately,
You
most
know that
pizza
as well
places
as
that
I
have
do,
them, they're
Emma.
terrible. Stan's biggest secret is that everything he says is canon. Oh, that would be amazing.
Wait, stop Madam Scorpion? We? We as in also me?
Yep, that's the plan. Shining Nova, Miss Dynamo, and
Man went
also
to a strip
Stan
club,
take
wasn't
down
allowed
Mad
to
Scorpion
leave.
and Lord Bedlam. You up for it?
Actually, haven't had dinner yet, dude. I haven't had breakfast. Alright, so... if there's an after party. So yeah, what do? We want to take out the bad guys? We want to be a good boy now? After party, baby. We always have to go with like the snarky quips. I feel like Stan isn't the kind to go all in on this, but after party requirement sounds pretty good. Yeah.
Sure, if there's an after party. It's been a long week. I really need to unwind.
Besides, if we take Scorpion down, then she can't kill us, probably. Yeah.
Good luck with that. Your girl here hasn't partied in years.
Sure, I have. We have holiday parties at the NWHA all the time.
NWHA.
Northwestern Heroes Association. And those don't count, Victoria. You always wear your armor.
Yeah, for protection, it would be the perfect time to attack.
See what I mean? Literal years.
No, just figurative dynamo years. Just because I can't keep up with your breakneck pace doesn't mean I can't party at all. I can totally party. I am a party.
Well, you'll just have to prove it after we take care of business then. Once this is over, we're cutting loose and having fun. Promise?
Fine. Deal. I promise there will be an after party.
Hell yeah, after party, let's go.
Wow. I never thought I'd see the day. I'm impressed, Sunshine. Now I'm starting to see why she brought you along.
Well, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Before that, we need to actually stop Madame Scorpion. And before that, we need to solidify our plan of attack.
Don't know, wait. But the way Stan said that made him sound super flamboyant. Alright.
But for now, let's take a little time to
I didn't
recover and
catch
get
that,
our
but
bearings,
whatever.
Okay?
Recovery sounds good.
Convinced that Ms. Dynamo is no longer about to pound me into the dust, I leaned on the pillar I'd previously been pinned to and I let out a weary sigh.
Sure thing. I figured you wouldn't be executing the final phase until tomorrow, but I wanted to make sure you made it out of there all right.
I always do, don't I?
Victoria extends her closed fist and Dynamo meets it with her own in a light fist bump. Suddenly pulls the smaller woman in for a rough one-armed hug.
You thought you could get away with just that? No way.
We need them digits, yeah?
Oh, come on!
Always do. You little shit. People really think I'm the cocky one. You know, for a second there, I was really worried that you gone from superhero to super no.
Dynamo!
Caught off guard, Victoria flails futilely in Dynamo's grasp. The taller hero just ruffles Victoria's hair with her free hand before finally letting go.
Just admit it. You only hate that joke because deep down you think it's hilarious. You laughed that one time.
Because I was delirious.
Victoria clears her throat and straightens her hair, as if somehow that'll make it look like that never happened.
I take it this means you forgive me for last night?
Supernova, what? Supernova, because Shining Nova, Supernova, yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, I do. How'd I do? Did you buy it?
At the time, but she'll have figured out that you were just putting on a show by now. It was the right call regardless. Scorpion will get hers, but that was too soon.
Yeah.
Guess that explains why no superheroes showed up until the end last night. Wait, if I hadn't made it to the car in time, you wouldn't have beaten me up again, would you?
Well, we'd have had to keep up appearances, Sunshine. Kind of sad I missed you, honestly. Anyway, if you're all good here, then I'll head out for now. Want me to take the suit with me?
Yeah, might as well toss out a red herring. Got a couple backups online if I need them. Kepler 1604, activate Dog Walker Protocol. Handler, Miss Dynamo.
Dog Walker Protocol, that's perfect. Shining Nova suit once again glows with life and turns its attention to Dynamo. Up above, one of the skylights starts to slide open.
Got it. I'll be sure to do a few passes on the skyline to make sure we're seen. And before I forget, you can have this back too. There's a few messages, but nothing critical.
Dynamo pulls a small silver device from her belt and tosses it lightly to Victoria, who casually snatches it out of the air. At that, the hero turns to leave.
See you tomorrow. Oh, and Sunshine, behave.
Yes, ma'am. I gulp and nod in affirmative as Dynamo turns her eyes to, upwards and launches herself into the air, shooting through the skylight and into the open air. The empty Nova suit follows shortly, and the skylight closes.
You know, I'm not sure who came closer to killing me today. Her or Scorpion?
Scorpion, hands down. Don't let Dynamo scare you. She's just looking out for me. Honestly, I think she likes you. Come on, let's eat something. I'm starving.
Victoria walks towards a small kitchenette tucked away on the wall adjacent to the living area, and I follow. There isn't really a dining table or a bar, so I drag a nearby stool over and take a seat.
Let's see. That pasta should still be good.
She pokes her head in. She pokes her head in the fridge and returns with half empty Tupperware container. Cautiously, she cracks the lid open, takes a whiff.
Nope. That's a big, big nope.
She hastily seals the lid and stuffs it back into the fridge.
You're leaving it in there?
Leftover pasta, meal of champions and heroes.
Well, if I toss it out, it'll stink up the garbage. And that's just a disaster that I don't have time for right now.
Silently, I wonder if I just witnessed the supervillain origin story for evil sentient leftovers as Victoria pulls out a milk container. I try to look for an expiration date as stealthily as I can, but she's quick to notice.
Don't worry. It's the lactose-free stuff that expires later, so it's probably still good. You cool with cereal?
Hey, I won't complain. What are my options?
Well...
With sheepish steps, Victoria walks over to a nearby cabinet, pulls it open, to reveal a wall of identical blue and white cereal boxes, all with Shining Nova's helmet plastered on them.
Here's, really just the one.
She pulls out a box and sets it on the counter next to the milk. I stare silently, blinking as if that will somehow change what I'm seeing.
Wow, you're actually feeding me cereal from a box with your face on it.
You get them for free, okay? And you don't have to have any. I'm kidding. Please eat some. Dynamo won't take any more boxes, and I'm running out of cabinet space.
All right, pour me a bowl of Hero O's? That's a misprint, right?
That's a terrible name.
I asked the same thing when we filmed the commercial.
After a minute of searching, Victoria manages to find a pair of balls that aren't sitting in the sink and pours us both a ball. I take mine with mock reverence.
It's an honor to eat your sugary grain mixture, Shining Nova, ma'am.
Really regretting that I didn't let Dynamo get some shots in earlier.
She's just like me, for real, for real. Despite her complaining, I can see her fighting to hold back a grin as she boosts herself up on the counter in a place of a proper seat. Her legs dangle off the ground as she grabs her own bowl and digs in.
You know, it's not bad. There's way worse ways to make a buck.
They don't pay me. I mean, they pay, but the money goes to the association.
She shakes her head as she swallows another bite.
Unless you're willing to do some serious money laundering, there's pretty much no way to make money on sponsorships without giving up your secret identity.
Makes sense.
So why don't you?
Well, a lot of reasons. I mean, there's the whole safety of myself and my loved ones, yada yada, you know, all the classic stuff.
Why is every fictional character incapable of cooking? To be fair, like, should be, like, way more, you know, occupied with, you know, superhero stuff to actually learn how to cook. So, like, I'd give her a pass. See, she leans forward and points at me with her spoon for emphasis.
But also, once you go public, there's only 3 real paths forward.
You can make rice in literally 10 minutes. Yeah, true.
I thought that armor was designer.
Huh? Oh, sorry. That means you've retired from real superhero work and are just a celebrity, basically. So, you know, you can start using expensive costumes that wouldn't be practical to work in. Designer. Anyway, the third option
Take the
is
Bunsen
really
burner,
only
turn it
viable if
into
you're
a
someone like
stovetop.
Dynamo, and that's sleeping with your mask on.
See, she stops me before I can ask.
Not literally. What I mean is that both your identities merge into each other. You can still keep a secret ID, but you're legally one person doing business as your hero name. It's complicated. But like I said, that only works if you're like Dynamo, and you come packaged with powers that make you tough to intimidate, and let you operate on a lower budget. Not really an option for someone like me.
She shrugs and turns back to her cereal, let out a grunt of acknowledgement and do the same. So I crunch on my cereal and mull over her explanation. I hear Victoria let out a small laugh.
Maybe this is weird to say, but I'm glad you didn't know that. It's nice to be able to flip the tables on you a little, Mr. Grizzled Veteran.
Honestly, I was just thinking about that. I guess neither of us really had a reason to think about how the other side's job actually worked.
I glance around at the apartment, taking it all in.
Or maybe we just had different pictures of it in our heads.
Well, Jake, hope you have a good rest of the stream. I'm gonna go shower. Alright, Damo. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate it as always.
Is that your way of asking, bitch, you live like this?
Bitch, you live like this?
No, it's a nice place. It just all seems like it's...
Oh, what are we answering? Want to have some heroic cereal, yeah. So, what do we think of the place? Is it a lot of work, exciting, beyond me, or not my thing? Just before I go, I have one thing to say. Smash! Jeez, alright, you come on a little hard. God damn, Demo. It's just so not my color. Hard to pick here because Stan is too... Yeah, normal. Yeah. He is very normal. He's just a very normal dude, so... Maybe beyond me. Yeah, I'll leave it up to you. You know, I'd say a lot of work, actually.
A lot of work.
That's putting it mildly, but yeah. And the work never really stops.
Victoria shrugs.
It's not for everyone. There were nights when I was trying to debug my armor's OS or repair a joint with scrap metal, and I just wonder, damn, why are you going through all this trouble? No one asked you to. But then I realized that's sort of the point.
I take a moment to mull over her words, but all I manage to offer in reply is a small, before turning back to the task of devouring my cereal. It's weird. Since I found out that she was shining Nova, she's managed to seem both more and less like the armored demigod that confronted me on Wednesday. I don't know what to make of it. It doesn't take us long to finish our makeshift meal, and soon our empty bowls have joined the other discarded dishes in the sink.
You know, I just realized that's the first meal I've had that didn't come out of a vending machine or the twisted mind of Chef Antonio in at least a year.
Damn, that's crazy, crunch crunch.
Really? Now I feel kind of bad.
Don't. It's a vast improvement. But if you're feeling guilty, you could make it up by giving me the official tour. I scoped it out a little earlier, but it only seems fair, doesn't it?
Fine.
She clears her throat and gestures around herself in all directions.
This is my workshop, gym, living room, kitchen, and office. Bathroom's over there, my bedroom's over there.
She points from one door to the other.
Thank you for signing up for our tour. Please remember to tip your guide.
For that? No way. You didn't give me a tip and I was tons better. Hands down.
God damn it, Stan.
Debatable. They say brevity is the soul of a tour, you know. Plus, I give out party favors.
Oh, party favors, yo. As Victoria backs towards her workbench, she pulls out the silver device that Miss Dynamo tossed her earlier, and returns the gesture in my direction. Unlike her, I bobble it a bit before securing it.
What is it?
It's my NWHA communicator. I had Dynamo carry it around to make it seem like I wasn't off the grid. Can you play the messages on it for me?
Stanley,
I have to
please
start
get
writing
rid of the
some
phone.
files I got from Scorpion supercomputer.
God.
Look for the ones that have a star by them. Those are high priority.
I thought we were resting and recovering.
We are. Relative to what we could be doing, this is very restful.
I shake my head, but activate the device nonetheless, as Victoria hooks up a data drive to one of her computers. It's like a cross between a miniature smartphone and an old pager. It doesn't take long to navigate to the message menu. Even though it looks like there are numerous missed calls, there are only 3 messages, all with different senders. Nightingale, Mr. Fluke, and Android. And none of them have the star Nova mentioned. Let's play them in order. See, navigate the message labeled Nightingale and press play.
Hey, Nova! Oh no, that's too informal, isn't it? Sorry, I mean Shiny Nova. That's better.
See, it's Nick moment. Nice moment about 3 hours Madam Scorpion's gonna sneak in and stab us.
Anyway, hi, it's Nightingale. You know, from the NWHA. The new girl. I spilled that coffee on you the first time we met. So, funny story. You remember how we talked about my fear of heights and how you said that even if I have to fly really high, I should always land close to the ground? Well, It may have slipped my mind while I was on patrol, and now I'm kind of stuck at the top of a skyscraper, and my wings won't manifest, so, call me back.
So
Or
she's just
the
been stuck on the top
helicopter.
of a building?
Thanks.
Like, for how long has she been with us? Like 3 days?
Did I hear that right? She has wings and a fear of heights?
Yeah, it's been something of a work in progress. Sweet kid, though. I kind of feel bad I wasn't able to help. Are there any more messages from her?
Yeah, one more. Hold on.
Hey, Shining Nova. It's Nightingale again. So I got one wing to show up, but despite what anime has taught me, flying that way is really, really hard.
Shut up.
It's okay, though. I only threw up a little bit.
Of course she's an anime nerd.
Has a fire escape. So, as long as you delete these messages and never...
Tried the anime
ever
one-wing
tell
flight.
Dynamo
I
about them,
like
we
her.
totally forget this ever happened.
Don't most buildings have rooftop entrances? I'm sure she's fine.
So,
Yeah, probably.
Please do that. Thanks. See you at the next meeting.
Though it would be awkward to have, you know, a superhero whose whole thing is flight takes stairs.
Guess it turned out okay. Ish. That's good. Sounded like that kid really looks up to you. That happen a lot with the younger heroes?
Yeah, I suppose. Hard to do what we do if you're not a little passionate about it, but at the same time, you need to lose a starry-eyed naivete if you want to make a real impact.
Spider-Man took the elevator in the second movie? Good point.
When you're facing down a supervillain, you can't have a fan watching your back, you know? It won't work.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a problem.
I turned back to the communicator to look for more messages. Alright, let's try Mr. Fluke. Navigate the message labeled Mr. Fluke and press play.
Hey, Nova, it's Fluke. I know you're used to me calling you with bad news, but, okay, this is still pretty bad. Just try to soften the blow, is all. Look, point is, whenever you're back, you may get some questions from the press about an exploding candy factory. And I know I'm obligated to call all the senior members to make
Sounds
them aware when
elevated,
something
oh
like
god.
this happens. But I also just personally want to say, this one's not my fault. I mean, did you know sugar dust is explosive? I didn't. Hell, the Candy Crew sure didn't seem to. And they're candy-themed villains, for Pete's sake. I just figure, hey, the factory's abandoned. A little old snap won't hurt nobody. And it didn't. Everyone's okay. Just, not the factory is all. So, yeah, just letting you know. See you when I see you. Don't tell Dynamo.
Sugar dust is explosive? Seriously? And how did this guy make it
Yay,
explode?
property damage.
Ooh, yeah. That's how the 5th and 7th Candyman bit it. As for how our friend there caused it, well, he didn't. Mr. Fluke doesn't really cause anything himself, at least not directly. He just snaps his fingers, and things start going wrong. The hypothesis is that it's a type of causality manipulation. Think of it as uncontrolled, extreme bad luck.
That's a very interesting superpower, thinking of it. It's the ability to make bad luck happen around you.
That sounds less than helpful. You just keep him around to keep a leash on him, or what?
Fun fact, Flower 2 is explosive when suspended in the air, yeah.
And as a last resort. When nothing's working for us, sometimes all you can do is make sure nothing works for the other side, too.
Basically Jinx's superpower from Teen Titans. Is it? I don't know. I haven't seen Teen Titans in God knows how long.
Honestly, if we can't stop Scorpion here, he's part of Plan Z. I just hope it doesn't come to that.
Yeah, me too.
Turn back to the communicator to look for more messages. Alright, Android. What the hell does stand for? Navigate the message labeled Android and press play.
Yo, Nova, it's MMA. Just giving you a shout. Missed you in the Hexagon this week. We were supposed to give an exhibition for the rookies, remember?
How does this guy make an actual living as a superhero? That's hilarious.
No big deal. Dynamo covered for you. But just give me a heads up next time, alright? I know you've always got a lot going on, but we're all here to help when you need it. Speaking of help, my leg was acting up and I was hoping you could take a look at it. I know the association can hook me up with the tech, but you're better at this stuff than anyone. Anyway, no rush. I'll catch you at the next sparring session. If you show up this time, anyway. Later! Oh, and I had to resort to flattery to bring Dynamo in, so don't tell her you were my first choice, okay?
Funny, that didn't sound like a robot.
Because it's not. He's a human with cybernetic limbs. Good hand-to-hand guy.
So he's a cyborg. It's literally it's literally the DBCA joke.
So he's really Cyborg? Yeah, it doesn't have the same ring to it, I guess, but man, sparring lessons, repairing other superheroes' gadgets? You really do all that? How do you manage it?
Actually, we call them sub-androids.
Well, like he said, sometimes I don't. Or I just don't sleep. Still,
Please don't tell my dad there's 2 more androids. Make that 3.
And you have to push yourself to your limits. I'll have to thank Dynamo for covering for me. Again. I'm sure she knew the whole time what happened. Probably milked that flattery for all it was worth.
Well, looks like that message was the last
Do
one.
I hear 5? I love the movie, like, Android 13. just make that 8. Do I hear an 8?
Alright, thanks for checking. Oh, come on. Isn't this thing supposed to be solid state? This should be going faster.
I turn off the communication device and set it aside as Victoria continues to tap away at her keyboard, grumbling to herself. Still tired, I stifle a yawn as I walk over to see what exactly she's up to. I get a good look at her setup. It's easy to see why she's so distracted.
That's some battle station. Can you actually keep track of all 4 of those screens at once?
Not really. No one can, actually. Multitasking is just switching between different things really quickly. The holographic screens are only running a diagnostic on Sagittarius 1868 and tracking Kepler 1604 in the background.
She gestures from one blue holographic screen on the far left to a second on the far right. I glance at each, then stare at her blankly. She rolls her eyes.
This one's testing one of the suits I have here, and this one's keeping an eye on the one that's following Dynamo.
Ah, so the middle 2 screens are the ones you're actually paying attention to.
Yeah, that's where I'm going through the data I grabbed from Scorpion's computer. I need to verify a few things before tomorrow. Could take a while. There's a lot to go through.
Oh, I'll bet.
The second yawn isn't quite as stifled, and Victoria raises an eyebrow in my direction.
I'm sorry. Am I boring you?
No. I'm just a little wiped from the whole running for my life thing still.
I'm kidding. Damn, you really are tired. I was expecting some kind of retort. Why don't you crash on the couch for a little? I'm gonna be tied up with this for a while anyway.
I glance at the couch and then nod as another yawn makes itself known. It does look awfully inviting.
Yeah, alright. That might be nice. But be sure to wake me if you need to tell someone that we're in. I could also bang on an unplugged keyboard and shout double hacking. You know, for moral support.
God.
Go get some sleep, dork. You're way less funny when you're drowsy.
Who said anything about being funny? That's a Unix system, by the way. You should know.
Shut up, Stan. Enough with the references. We get it. See, Victoria rolls her eyes again and tries to scoff, but it comes out as more of a snort. I can tell she's trying not to grin. I don't bother with such pretenses, smiling to myself all the way over to the sofa. Stan's great. He's a lovable idiot. See, some rest really will be nice. I don't know how Victoria has the energy. Her night was just as long as mine was, and her morning was even more intense. She actually fought Scorpion while I just fled from her. Just like me, for real. Sure, dude. Then again, if her place's litter situation is anything to go by, she does this all the time. Sweatshirt and lone sock occupy my spot on the couch when I arrive. I set them aside before flopping into the cushions. A few moments later, I've kicked off my boots and removed my mask, though I pause before setting the latter aside, holding it up to the light. In a few days, I won't put this on again, will I? I exhale deeply. Not how I imagined my Saturday was going to go, but do I regret it? I spare a glance in Victoria's direction. She's staring intently at one of her monitors, twirling her hair as she thinks. Nah, can't say that I do. There we go. Damn. Where's the save? Here we go. We will be saving this here. because if we keep going, we'll actually finish the game. But there we go. There we go. Anyway, this is where we are going to be stopping for now, since it's bloody God, it's noon. I started this at 9. God, we went for a bit longer than I expected. Oh God. So are there a bunch of different paths? There are so many different paths. I think there's like 6 or 7. There's like 6 or 7 different ways that this whole thing can end. I believe. I haven't seen them all yet. But yeah, there's quite a few. We still have a bit of this left, but yeah, next stream we will straight up be finishing this. So yeah. So guys, thank you so much for joining me for more Henchman Story. It's been fantastic. Now, if you'd like to, check us out, all of our socials are currently playing right now. Hey, perfect timing. Thank you for once. Yeah, those are the places where you can like catch up with all of our stuff. We also have, a TikTok, because I got to mention that because this little ticker was made before we actually made the TikTok, so it's not actually there. If you'd like to do us a favor, if you're watching this on the YouTube, make sure like, comment, blah, 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 all of that crap. If you're watching this live on Twitch, make sure to follow us. We are still working on that affiliate. We're still working on affiliate. So, that is the thing. Eventually, we will get our subscribe button. It will be a thing. We just got to wait to... Did you get to third base? Not yet. Not yet, Damo. Yeah, we're still working on getting our sub button. It's just going to take a while because, head boss is currently out doing stuff. So, it's taking a lot longer than usual. So, yeah. One day we get there. Exactly. So, yeah, that's all of that. Bruno, do you have anything going on this week? Do you have a Wednesday stream? Yeah, head boss is doing head boss stuff. Exactly. Yeah. Also, hey, shout out to, Bruno finishing off Mumbo as well. So, hey, that's a thing. So, yeah, is there anything you're doing this Wednesday, or is it just going to be the Sunday streams for you? Wednesday, Pokemon again. Going to be running around a few popular games starting in April. It is a thing. It's a lovely game. Rightio. Okay, so yeah, that is what Bruno is doing over on Wednesday. As for me, like I said, we'll be doing more of this on next Monday. Don't know what we will be doing after that. Like, if I get a code for something, then yeah, that'll be something that I do. Actually, hold on. I can't remember if it will be... Yeah, I can't remember if it will be out by then or not. Not 100% sure, but like after this, yeah, after we finish this, I think the the open beta for that Disney kart racer comes out for Switch. So we might check that out. Not 100% sure though. Don't quote me on that. That might be like the next thing we do after Henchman Story. But yeah, that is a plan. If not any of that, yeah, if none of that actually like happens, then one thing I did actually want to play is Kirby's Dream Land 2. because I love that. I love that thing. That was the first Kirby game I ever played on the Game Boy. Love that game. I'm so glad it's actually available for the Switch Online service. Anyway, so yeah, that is what we're doing over here in the near future. As for my personal stuff, if you want to go check out more of me and my stuff over at Chexic15 over here on Twitch. Tomorrow, I'm going to be playing House Flipper. Because apparently people wanted me to play that, so I brought House Flipper. So we're doing that. And we're also going to be continuing on with, the regular things I've been playing for the past couple of weeks. Which is, what was it? Fire Emblem Engage, Persona 3 Portable, and Like a Dragon Ishin. So, yeah, that is what we're doing. So, yeah. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to... Don't talk about South Park. That was the last thing I played, was South Park for the PlayStation 1. Played that on Saturday, and it was... Oh, it was one of the worst things I played. It is terrible. That game is terrible. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you guys next week for the conclusion of more Every time I'm about to say the name just escapes me. Henchman Story. There we go. I'll see you guys next week for the conclusion of Henchman Story. Ciao.